cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Case. Big update and new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.
Standing on shaky legs as Cirque walks over to the AK, sees the body just on the edge of the smoke, and Crims, well, Crims is still standing. Drops the bomb carrier, furthers one.
Now they hold front library, but Grat goes out aggressively toward top middle. They can have library all they want if he's got the op and a Deagle.
Yeah. Now Grat's going to fall back, and JKS gets the chance to mop, one of his favorite things to do when I played with him.
Inviting shot, trying to get information before exposing too much of himself. Looking at 2 frags and connects up.
The boss with the AWP, and next he's got so much to worry about, and Simple knows exactly what to do. Takes him out. Zeus is critically wounded. 4, and that's number 5.
CT's out, so they're not able to pick more weapons up. Oh my god, that's ridiculous from Simple!
It's fair, I did all the work today, you guys will, but I'm just going to make sure you stay alive to do it.
He's just patting them on the back the whole way through. As Alex continues his rampage up to 19 kills at this point, having a lot of impact thus far. Wants to push forward, underarms the flash, he can actually get X7, and look at him go. Alex is on an absolute rampage. With the 2 smokes and 2 flashes, 1 flash would be thrown out as now. Zaiwu goes aggressive. He'll get 1 kill off the flash. Make that 2, 3 for Zaiwu as he lights up the scoreboard, and B is open.
He'll at least get 1 back, but that's well and truly removed from the action over toward A. He pushes mid. Alurk already won out his duel.
Got the ace here, Zaiwu, and he'll take it.
Got it.
Really being dispersed down now. He has a lot of work.
Sergey does all of it, looks for the 4th, and he's got that as well. The ace aerial gives him the assist even, lets him drop out of range. If MIP just connect the first couple of shots, then it's going to be very devastating. And look at that, you can't just run through choke points, James.
Nice play from him, and he's getting right there, taking making an aggressive play towards short B. He's in that position. The door is open. He's going to get a 2-man spray down eventually. Those extra bullets coming in handy. And there's his rifle upgrade. Kaze jumping straight into position. That is absolute suicide.
okay to deal with this. There you go, the 1, 2, 3, and he's managed to save the day. That spells death and destruction for the T's. Well, if that didn't, Valde absolutely will. A beautiful trio of kills found by him. They can't deal with this defense whatsoever this round. Ayaya with another opportunity for a frag, but Valde stays alive. He's dodging all the bullets. Flashbangs in, and that would be the quad kill for him.
We've made it to the playoff stages here in Shanghai for the StarSeries I-League Season 7. Just 8 teams remain, and before we get into the early games of today, we've got 3 best-of-3s coming your way. We're going to be looking back at what happened throughout the group stages, and to look at this event as a whole with me to start things off here, I've got Pimp and Foreign with me. And Foreign, you're looking pretty dapper in your Dragon Ball Z mode right now.
I thought we'd, set the example. You can't just criticize people and never show them what to do. So the problem in Vitality and Big, these are 2 of the teams in the tournament I noticed, is they were never able to gel together, unlike the 3 of us.
There we go. See, we've done it pretty well, right? And we start off with a fire little statement coming out there from Duncan.
Right.
And
So
this is just the start of the beginning, right? This is where we get to enjoy all these moments. Pimp, how are you feeling? We had a day off. We had some time to relax, chill, get prepped for today. But we are here in the arena and ready to rock.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think we have 8 very competitive teams, and I think it's going to be interesting to see which one of them can go all the way. I have my favorite, but the first matchup we have today is going to be a close one.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? When you look at these quarterfinals, and we will come into this in more detail, it's ever so close, right? You can't be that confident that, oh yeah, it's going to be nice and smashing out the park. And these are the teams that have made it through, and these are the teams that have gone home. Now, Fnatic, Renegades, Vitality, ENCE, Na'Vi, NRG, NIP, and North in there. And the ones there at the end, right, especially for NIP, North, it was looking a little bit rough, like it could have gone either way. Team Spirit could have been the close ones to come back into this.
Definitely, but I think when you look at the 8 names that made it into the playoff, you'd say to yourself, all right, we could kind of forecast this. Obviously, missing FaZe Clan and missing MIBR, those are going to be the 2 big names, but that just tells you how strong this tournament actually is, how strong the midfield of Counter-Strike is right now, because you have potential 10 teams who all could go all the way and win this tournament. So, yes, big disappointment from MIBR, definitely didn't look good. FaZe Clan, them not making playoff, I think is disappointing, but the way they played was actually okay. I think I saw some positive signs in that. Whereas for the 8 teams who did make the playoff, it was obviously deserved. And I think North, being the one team that went from 0-2 and go to 3-2 was very impressive, especially considering who they faced.
A lot of the good teams, yeah. The one team I'll pick out is FaZe Clan, because I have to say, obviously in this type of a Swiss system, sometimes depending on who you get drawn against, depends on how far you're going to go in the tournament. Yeah. I feel like FaZe Clan played well enough to sneak into the playoffs, but the problem is they didn't secure the big wins. So I can't really hate on it overall. You shouldn't be in the playoffs if you can't win the 3 series, but considering some of the names that maybe got some of the easier opponents, like I could have seen FaZe Clan making it as well.
And that's what happens with the system, right? That's where things we look at and go, oh, okay, it's not too close, not too far. Now, looking at some of the best players from this tournament. Now, Simple, a name we expect to be up there. Nico doing his best, even though his team doesn't make it all the way through. But PKL, there could have been a surprise name in there, right? Doing the best he can there for Pain across the board, despite them going out 0-3.
Yeah, I mean, he got to show off some of that skill level he has. Obviously, he's also the most experienced player for that team, so that obviously also comes into play. A guy that I'm missing here, though, is AC right now from North. He really have had a good tournament so far. He's been very influential, very impactful, and he's been very consistent, which normally is not 2 words you connect with AC.
Yeah, the problem he has is he just couldn't make it there because North played a bazillion maps. So it's brought the overall average kills, which is what we're looking at here down. But yeah, I would agree, very, very good shot. As you see here, when you go to the average KDA rate, very high up.
Yeah, and that's nice to see, right? Because one thing for North is they had a rough beginning, but they showed us and proved pretty much all of us wrong, because we started to just go against them because their performances were so weak.
I don't think logically you can ever predict North to win some of these series. That's the problem. They can. They're a bit like NIP in that sense. They have a good upset shot against many teams on many maps, but it's tough to pin down like they're one of the best on this map or they're going to win in this way. As you saw, no one would predict Daisy was going to go. I mean, Pimp apparently had him in his fantasy team, so I don't know if he did on that one. Maybe he did. I'll give you credit, but you would never expect that. Like if I see someone at the top of the squad, I expect it to be Valde, surely, or Kirby maybe as an outside shot. So they've maybe benefited from a kind of an out of left field factor there, I think.
Now we also saw Cirque on there. I want to touch on that quickly because this is a man that has been in a slump across probably the past 6 months or so when we talk about him. But he's come alive back into this, and this whole dynamic of where NRG are at the moment is looking pretty strong.
I mean, I would say so, but it's still too early to tell for NRG. I think we'll be much smarter on the matter after the series today. I think this is going to be a great test for them. Obviously, individually wise, Cirque has been playing well, and as you said, he has been in a bad period for quite a long time. And obviously, he's a young guy, so I attest that to something being natural, you know, for his course of coming into the scene. He was very young coming into it. He started off like fire. You're going to have down periods once in a while, but if you're able to bounce back as he is right now, that's only a that's only a good sign, and that only means that he's maturing as a player as well. So I wouldn't necessarily make it as a bad thing for him. It's good to see him back though.
And that's what we want to look at, right? Is seeing these players able to rebound. We see some that can have good performances across the year and then drop off just a little bit too much. Now we saw Brolan at the end there, right? Being on there for Fnatic for the entry kills. And when they actually come to play, I think he's the player I'm really going to look to deliver across the board with the likes of Crims and JW. Fnatic are going to do some more damage here.
Well, obviously, that's one of the problems they have in their team. It's like JW is an aggressive player, but he's not a very consistent player, so you can't rely upon that. You need someone. Crims actually in times in his career has been an entry player, but in this particular team, when you need him to carry, you don't want him in that position all the time. Another guy I'd like to point out, since he's not in the playoffs, so we won't be talking about him after this, is actually somebody who had a very, very high entry rate there. He's a great example of what an entry player should be, because if you look at his stats, he's never going to have a great plus-minus, because he dies a lot, because he has to do that in order to entry. But what an exciting player to watch, such a great AK, just a really thrilling player to watch. Maybe not the best, but a very exciting one.
And that's it, right? Sometimes they don't get the credit just because of what that role is, but they are delivering for their team. It's then up to their team to do all the work. Now, coming into our first match, this NRG versus Vitality. This is a bit of a tough one when it comes down to it, right? And you can see all the matches we're going to see. So NRG versus Vitality is our first one. Then we'll have Fnatic versus North. And our final game of the day will be Renegades versus NiP. Tomorrow, we'll kick things off with Na'Vi versus ENCE. 3 best-of-3s for today. And NRG versus Vitality. When it comes down to this, we talk about Zero, but it's not going to be enough, right, for him just to pop off and take down a team like NRG.
Your team probably isn't good enough if over a best-of-3, one person can beat you. And that even applies to Simple. We've seen in Na'Vi, he's had some of the best series ever and lost them. So, as a result, I agree. Zero probably should be the best player in the server. I hope he goes off. He's one of my favourite players to watch of the new generation. But if other people don't show up from Vitality, and if as a team they don't have some presence, they will lose to NRG in this series.
And I think that's one of the more interesting aspects coming into this matchup, because there's no doubt when you look at it pound for pound, player by player, NRG has the better squad. You know, they have a Breezy, they have a Cirque, they have an Ethan, two of the hottest young prospects within the American scene right now, going up against what I would classify more as being a team, you know, having Saibu as being the big guy of the team, obviously always coming in with the numbers, but when you look at the likes of Apex, RPK, and MBK for that matter, it's more well-rounded players who likes to play the game as a team. So it's two different, you know, styles clashing against each other, and two different aspects they have to sort of like enforce on each other.
Now, we saw the times of when these matches are going on, right? It's 6 a.m. out in Europe at the moment, so I appreciate any of you guys here watching and anyone who stayed up late in North America to enjoy the Counter-Strike, because it's going to be an exciting set of matches. And as we were speaking about, right, it is not a clear cut, because at any point we could see a Vitality do make a good bit of damage, can come in and upset NRG. Both teams have not looked exactly clean.
No, I think Vitality, if anything, have maybe looked a little bit more stable. I think they're, you know, on their way up, and they're taking step by step, and that's also what you see NBK talking about all the time. They want to make sure that they gradually get better, whereas NRG, a team that just recently made a change of a core of the lineup, right? Getting rid of Fugly, putting in Tarek instead of that. I'm still unsure whatever to think of that in terms of roles and in terms of which one of the players needs to back down a little bit to allow Tarek to have a lot of space. So NRG still have a lot of stuff to find out, whereas for Vitality, it seems like they have the roles set in place. Maybe they just need a little bit of individual skill, or, you know, a bit more of Saibu to get that extra step up.
Sure, yeah, that's the problem for me. I see NRG's move as the same as Team Liquid's move, because funnily enough, they got similar types of players, Stewie and Tarek. They did the same thing. They cut the supportive element and they brought in a star. The problem is, as you saw in MIBR, if you make that like star talent be a supportive player, tends not to be that great a result. If you give him some more space, someone else has got to give something up. So we know in Team Liquid, some of the spots that were given up by Twists, formerly one of the best players. In NRG, I want to see how that shakes out, because that's the thing. I've seen actually Cirque have some off games. Ethan hasn't really shown me that much at this tournament. So I think they have the potential. The ceiling could be higher, but where's the consistent level? Because what I liked about the old NRG is I really knew who was going to do what, where, and when. On this team, I don't think they even quite have figured that out. And you've actually seen even the map pool started to veer a little bit left and right. They haven't got the old classic map pool you expect.
And this is what we talk about when it comes to the map pool for a lot of these teams is how do we make this work for them? Because yes, you can be a jack of all trades in a sense, right? Play a bit of everything, but you still need to define what you're most comfortable in. And at least for NRG, it's still early days of having Tarek in there, but where do these guys play out in?
I mean, as by the looks of it, right, and what we've seen in this tournament so far as well, Train seems to be the go-to map for NRG right now. They were able to beat North, you know, 16-0 on it. A team that so far in the tournament, North that is, have also been able to play Train against NIP, win it, play Train against FaZe, and won it as well. So not necessarily a bad result at all. But as you said, it seems like the map pool is sort of like widening out a little bit. I don't think themselves are sure where to go to yet. You can just
they obviously won't be getting Train. That's the problem.
That's the thing, right?
Yes.
So in this matchup, it doesn't matter, and that's where it comes into play, right? At Dust 2, for an example, a map where Vitality is very good on. Obviously, you see a win rate at 100%, but I wouldn't necessarily say NRG is going to be too comfortable going into Dust 2.
No, but the interesting thing is, like, this is one of those series I see where you both just bring in the permas, and then at that point in time, you're just like, right, now I just pick my map that I like. You probably like it as well. You pick your map, I can play that as well.
Sure. Yeah.
And at that point in time, what I love about that is now you're not going to see any super in-depth like tactical breakdown. You're probably just going to see the two teams play off. It's who's the better team. That's all that matters in this one. Because as we go over to here, similar kind of story. They don't play Train. Obviously, Dust 2, they have a very good win rate, but the difference is they played it a lot of times. That's really been proven for them. Mirage for both teams is one of the most played maps, so very good chance of that for a third map, I think. You go and you look at something like Cash, you're not going to pick that as a surprise against Vitality. They like that one. Inferno, also similarly, very well played in terms of numbers, but not in terms of win percentage. Nuke, actually, interestingly enough, was a bad one for the guys from NRG. Sure. But will the guys from Vitality pick that? That's kind of a ballsy map to pick, right? You know. So I kind of feel like I think we're going to end up on something like Overpass, Dust 2, Mirage, and we're going to have a fairly even set of maps.
And that's the thing. I think it's a great point, because when you look towards Overpass, that used to be one of the NRG's best maps. But as you saw right here, Vitality loves to play it. They win every single time they play it. So do they dare going into that dungeon where it could be, you know, NRG just picking it but still being very comfortable on it, or do they want to play it safe and maybe go towards a nuke, you know, where you know what you get from Vitality? So it's a little bit up in the air, and I think the map pool and the veto process in this one is going to determine a lot what we can expect in this game.
Now, one thing I want to look at for both these teams, right, so they've both got coaches that come into play, and both coaches take quite a dominant role throughout the team, right? But at least I think for Vitality, less or so for them, because you look at Alex and MBK to be doing a lot of it here, while Amapet is quite vocal in every decision when it comes down to what NRG have to offer. How much of a factor do we think that's going to be when it comes to this matchup?
Well, one of the things that I know, even when he wasn't the in-game leader, NBK used to be the guy who was always working with NKJ. All the analysts he's had, basically. He used to be the guy who wanted to, like, collaborate with that guy, watch some demos, figure things out. So I'm sure he takes, like, suggestions, feedback. But the reason he's become an in-game leader is he wants to control the game. So I expect, much more in that sense. Whereas I'm a Pet and Daps, I see that as more of an even partnership. Like, I think the reason he brought in I'm a Pet is they have a similar view on the game, they work together on it, and that, in that sense, I don't see any kind of like a clash or one's like got a dominant position over the other one.
Okay, interesting way for them to look at it and how it will play out. And do you think that better dynamic can serve them better than what it does, say, for the likes of Vitality in that sense?
Well, if you look into it, over his history, one thing you've got to give I'm a Pet credit for is he's been part of a lot of teams that have gotten upsets over better squads and won on the opponent's map pick. So I don't think he'd trip over and accidentally do that. Like, there's got to be something behind it. Like, he's done his homework, or he's found some of the counters. So that's a great quality to have. I don't think it matters as much against Vitality. Like, for a start off, Dust 2 could be their pick. And you're going to have a hard time anti-stratting on that map. It's not really coming into play as much. But maybe later in the tournament, because actually a side factor to this series and this half of the bracket, actually, is you have these 4 teams in this top half of the bracket. None of them expected they were going to win this tournament. None of them thought they were the favourite for this tournament. Yeah. But when they see the bracket they're in, all 4 of them should think this is a chance to go to the final at least.
Exactly.
So this should be very, very motivating for all of them.
And that's a really key point to make, right? Because they look at this bracket and they think there is potential on any given Sunday, so to speak, right? The term that's always used. But the thing is, for me, I don't like to bring up just stats the whole time. But when it comes to this, there is such a big difference when you look at Zyru, 4th best player at the moment throughout the entire event, like a 1.24 or 25 rating. And then we look at, like you say, the likes of Ethan, Cirque, Breezy, they're all around there. But everyone else in Vitality, they're completely dropped off. They're just about getting 1.0. So when I put this pound for pound, I'm thinking, okay, NRG can take it. And when we say about the maps where they can both be quite happy to play it, I don't know really where Vitality's going to go with it.
No, I think you're right in terms of, they're more well-rounded, in terms of individual skill on NRG. But that said, though, I think Saibu have shown that he's consistent enough with his performances that it not necessarily become a problem for Vitality. Sure. I also think Vitality have, that edge where they can go up to that level. A guy like NBK, we saw him at the minor, I believe. He had one of the best stats, leading into the major. It wasn't that well, but there are players on Vitality who can step it up when needed. Apex for the matter as well. A player that used to be so good and very demanding in the way he was playing, creating a lot of space for the likes of Saibu and for the likes of NBK of the lineup. So I think there's potential for Vitality to pick it up, even if Saibu has a bad game. That said, though, he's instrumental to their success. If he's not showing up and you have an Ethan or you have a Cirque on the other side of the bracket, turning up against you, then Saibu is needed, simple as it is. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing for Vitality. I think they're still doable, and I think the foundation they're trying to build up here as a team is going to be enough to at least deal with NRG in a manner where it's going to be a close game no matter how well Saibu is playing. So
do we think as well for Vitality, one of the things they need to play off of here is just the fact they've been together longer, they got a bit more of that totally teamwork comes to it, with Tarek being the change here, and like what we were saying with the supportive role kind of changes. Is this where Vitality can take a step above them in that sense?
They should be able to. I'm just not sure whether they're strong enough in the core of the foundation to be there yet. I mean, the way NBK wants to play the game, the way he always voices it publicly as well, is in fact that he wants to be a team, right? He wants to be a well-rounded team, he wants to be a team player, and they want to play for each other, and that's all fine and good, if you can practice it on the server and actually get it done.
Yeah, but I want to be 7 foot, have a Lamborghini, and have Alyssa Milano as my girlfriend.
But we need to see it.
The things we want don't always come true, do they? You've got to be realistic, guys.
Exactly.
No, you do have to be realistic indeed. And I believe there's someone talking in my ear at the moment, but I can't hear them because I've got static non-stop.
That's
so I don't know where we're going next.
So don't worry about that.
It's just me losing
Take
my mind.
medication.
I've just slowly lost the plot. It's what happens when I'm on a desk with you guys over time. But I'm guessing we'll get to the veto pretty soon, I can only imagine. In terms of what we said with the veto, right, it can be quite cut and dry. Do we expect any surprises, though, with it? Could there have been some prep done and they go, hey, look, we do feel comfortable to come in with a wild card pick?
Well, the interesting thing is, historically, the French teams don't really like to get too cute in the veto. They tend to pick the comfort map, they ban the map they always ban, and you just go to a third map that's reasonable between two. It's basically the way you just cookie cutter vetoes in that sense. NRG are the ones that can come with the surprise. Because as I said, I'm a Pet basically prides himself on this idea of we're either going to find a map that you're really strong on, that could be Overpass, and say, well, we'll play you on it, but as a result, I've had time to watch all the demos, or we go with the punish pick. Like in that particular case, I mean, if you look at this team, what do you think the punish could be? I think it'd have to be something crazy, like going for Inferno or something bizarre like that. I don't think it's that great a pick. That's the problem. The map pool's too similar, so I'm not really sure where you go for the wild pick. I think you have to kind of pick into Vitality's strengths as well, because they have to do the same to you largely.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think there's necessarily a punish pick coming from NRG, because as you said, the map pool for Vitality is just similar. Overpass is by no means going to be a punish pick. You saw it before. They played it 9 times, won 9 out of 9. That's pretty decent, to say the least. Whereas for NRG, I think playing Nuke may be their option. I think Nuke could be a close map, and I think obviously it's not something they're going to pick. But I would assume they would let it float inside the veto, and maybe it comes down to either Mirage or Nuke to be played. That said, though, I mean, Vitality have looked okay on Mirage. They looked solid on it, had some good wins, but they also had a few losses on Mirage. So I could see NRG, if they spotted something in the way Vitality plays, especially on the CT side, which tend to be very aggressive all the time. Well, if they can find some flaws in that, then Mirage may be that punish pick, or maybe that map pick where Pet thought to himself, all right, I see some tendencies here, let's exploit it.
Sure.
Well, this is a good sign. See Apex having some fun with the camera, obviously getting himself ready and waiting. And as we got a few more minutes to go with this, one question I want to pose to you guys. Vitality, right? Meant to be put together to be this team that is the best team in France currently, but to be a world beater, right? To be one of the #1 teams in the world. Does this lineup have what it takes if you give them a bit more time, or will we see future changes potentially?
The answer is no. This team is never going to be the #1 team in the world, not with this current lineup. I think there are too many supportive elements in this team right now. If you look at it, you have RPK, you have NBK, and you have Alex, all 3 players that potentially could be that supportive element. That's at least 1 too many. So if you can pair up Saibu with a young French project, for example, an Amanek who just recently joined G2, for example, I think he would be a great pickup for Vitality. Obviously, that's just not possible as it is right now. But even a Kenny S maybe, in a prime, one of the old stars, coming in and finding that form, that would be a sick lineup, and then we can talk about Vitality being a potential top 5, top 4 team in the world.
Okay, and in terms of what NRG have, right, we're talking about time. We need to give them a little bit more with it. But for me, at least, I'd say we can look at the pieces and be happy what they've got for now, right? Especially given what you could choose from in America. I know a lot of people are speaking to Flom before as well. He was mentioning that some of this young talent coming through NA certainly could be given a chance. But NA is one of them regions at the moment where we just keep recycle on a regular basis. Now, Pimp, you played within that scene.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all of that?
I mean, they have been recycling, but I think a lot of new talent have been brought up as of recently. You don't see the Semphis, the Cutlers, all those kind of guys like they're done and dusted now. It's over. They've had their paycheck for long enough, and simply, you know, as it is, they're not good enough to compete with these young guys anymore. I think Breeze, Ethan, Cirque for that matter, that's a fine sign of a generation that is currently switching over there. Twist, another one, you know, coming into Liquid and being the star, as you said, being potentially one of the best players in the world. So there's a generation shift happening in NA, and I think this whole recycling process is about to be done. So I'm looking forward to see some of that young prospect Flom is hinting to, because I haven't seen it yet. I think we have the stars we have right now in NA, but where it comes from, I'm not really sure.
It could make it very exciting, right, with NA trying to challenge a little bit harder. But you guys at home, before we give our predictions, you can vote in Twitch chat for which team you want to see take the win and which team you think is going to take the win. So you can cast your votes now by doing exclamation or hashtag even this time around NRG or hashtag Vitality. But now it's time to talk to you guys of which way you think this is going to go. We don't know the veto or have seen the veto just yet.
To, mate.
I don't think it's going to come up. Which way are we going, Duncan?
I'm going heavily to NRG here.
Okay.
If they lose the series, I'll also look like what went wrong for them, because I look at the talent level they've got. I look at the core that they have been able to bring over from last year. They have a pretty wide map pool, some depth there as well. They've even been to this position before. It's not like this is like their first time and they're going to break and the veterancy of the Vitality players comes into play. I don't think so. So as a result, I think this is heavily an NRG series. 2-0, 2-1, doesn't matter.
I think it's going to be much closer than that. I would agree to you, though, when you look at the players and when you look at the constellation of the lineups, NRG should be the winning team. But given the time they've been together, given the fact that I'm still unsure whatever Tarek is going to fit into this team, I think it's going to be a close one. I actually have Vitality winning this one.
Okay.
It very much depends on the map, very much depends on the vetoes and how they're going to play out. But Vitality could take this one 2-0. And again, you know, I think Saibu having one of those great games against a Cirque, you know, that's going to shut him down. And we haven't really seen that much from Breeze and Ethan in this tournament. And the foundation of our Vitality is not there yet, but I think it's getting strong enough to deal with NRG in a time where they're not really peaking.
Well, I believe in NRG because my HLTV fantasy pick is just going to wreck you a little bit further.
That's why you're going to lose again.
Because you can go further down. Oh, I'm still currently ahead of you, so you can just sit at the bottom.
At this much.
So I am going to go with NRG as it comes into it. But it's time for us to get into the game. And we've got Harry and Vendetta. Oh, I'm being shouted at MYO again, so I'm guessing we're not having that just yet. Okay.
Oh, yeah, cool.
There we go. There we go. Oh, I am getting a map pick. So we gave predictions before a map pick, so we'll wait for the map pick to come
Pretty
up.
good.
Yeah, let's redo it after that. I mean,
It makes sense. It makes sense. We'll wait and see then what veto we have.
I was just tentative. We were teasing them there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't care what it said on the screen there. I'm taking control of this event producer. If one of us decides we're going to change our pick after we see the maps, we're doing that. So whether you bring that graphic or not, don't care, mate. So just saying that that's happening. But I have to say, this is a series where I don't think the map picks matter as much as we've just discussed quite in depth. I'm pretty sure we're all going to pick the same team to win, unless there's some very, very bizarre scenario in the veto now. I assume that they need a bit more time now, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing we're just playing around with the veto buttons for a little while. There we go. It starts to load up, and the question is, we'll probably see just the Instabans, right? We're expecting the train to come out straight away
Almost
from
certainly
Vitality.
for that one.
And then potentially cash from NRG if they really want to, if they don't feel confident playing against Vitality on it.
If they want to, they could float it. There we go. You go with Dust 2. I don't mind that, actually. In this scenario, since they'd only played Dust 2 twice, let them pick cash, because look, they weren't anyway. In fact, Vitality's done what, if you're NRG, you'd like to happen. Let them pick Overpass. You take Mirage. See, they've gone for that as the punishment. They don't have the greatest win rate on it. They have a positive win rate, but they've gone for that as a potential punish because they've seen Vitality lose on the map. They lost Ends, for example.
Sure.
Inferno ban. I actually think we just get the nuke ban at this point in time, and we go into, well, what would be left at that point in time?
Cash.
There we go. I think that makes more sense as they decided, because it's a bit dodgy to go with like 2 punishes in that scenario. And we did see it wasn't a bad win rate for the Vitality guys when they had to play on nuke. Going into cash, I think that's much more reasonable for both teams in that particular scenario, and we still get that kind of DM-ish map if we can get at that point in time.
I'm actually happy how this video played out in terms of me picking Vitality to win this one, because I think Overpass is going to be heavily favored to Vitality. What we've seen from NRG lately on Overpass has been very inconsistent. It hasn't really been to the same level. That said, though, they brought in the core from last year, and they know how to win on the map, you know, because they were very good on it, so it could be a close one. Whereas for Mirage, I'm a bit surprised that's going to be NRG's pick. We talked about it. It could be a sort of of quote-unquote punish pick, but it must have been something they've seen in the demo reviews,
Like I
because
say,
we did
yes.
see
Yeah.
Vitality played a lot during the major. I think they played a quadruple overtime game against Na'Vi as well on Mirage at the major, and they actually look very solid. They beat Big at the major on the map as well. So this is a map they play very well. So this could easily be, or not easily, but this could potentially be a 2-0 for Vitality in my head.
Another problem I have coming into this one, right, is it's all well and good to dominate the Swiss system, to dominate Tier 2 competition. And if I look at Ziwu, if you ask me to pick someone to be one of the next all-time great players, yeah, he'd be on my list. But he hasn't done it yet.
Sure.
So as a result, when you get onto that stage, when you get into the match you know is the big match, when you get into, like I say, this bracket, Vitality should think, hey, we have a chance to go to the final here. Yeah. That's pressure that he's never encountered in his career before. He's never been in this position before. So as a result, if you tell me this guy has to carry on 2 out of 3 maps, if it happens, listen, I'll be the #1 fan cheering him on, but I have to see it happen first. I can't just give you legendary status before you've earned it.
And that's completely true, because we actually saw it on the last games, right, where Vitality played the last best of 3.
Yes.
There was a couple of games where Zoe wasn't there,
he was just
and they were
quiet,
struggling.
yeah.
And it wasn't like he played terrible.
No,
it was because he didn't have the
exactly.
monstrous performance. It made it more difficult for
That's
him.
what the pressure on this young man is. He doesn't just have to play well. He has to be the best player in the server. And if he doesn't, they can lose to anyone.
And that's a scary prospect if you are a Vitality fan. Now, looking at these head-to-head, the overall matches they've played across Overpass here, it's a little bit closer for NRG, but also their opponents aren't quite as high up, right, in comparison. Vitality obviously playing against Europe. You've got Avangar in there, Ago, Mouse Sports, big across the board, but it's just wins regardless.
And I think it's the convincing wins that is telling me the most, right? The 16-11, 16-5, 16-6, 16-11. None of the games have been really close. None of the games have been pushed into OT or at a point where Vitality feels that they're close to lose control over the game. So it's been very convincing for them on a map like Overpass, and I think that's what they're looking towards against NRG as well.
Yeah, you have to remember, when they do those stats, it always says in the last 3 months. And if any HDMI cable ever comes out of a monitor, it stops working, so you can't see them. Just thought I'd throw it out there. It's a piece of information and trivia people might not be interested in. But anyway, what I was going to say was, when they had that big win rate, recently, it was against the teams that were obviously like tier 2 or lower teams. Yeah. And remember, because it's 3 months, that takes into account some of the last lineup as far as I know. Like, I think that might be December. And so I would guess the Supernova tournament's in there for the old lineup, which was expert on Overpass. So some of that's maybe a little bit boosted, you know. I don't think the actual win rate is 80% like it says there. This lineup, if I had to guess, I would say realistically they're more like a 60% win rate team on this map, 50%. Sure. It's going to be more of a questionable one, because otherwise they'd be picking it themselves like they used to in the old NRG. Yeah. There we go. We're back.
We can see everything.
Exactly.
We're in the building. Yeah. We can be happy.
Yes, there we go.
And overall, in general, right, when we're looking at this, we've gone on Reddit for quite some time. We know how this is playing out. Don't worry, guys. You've come in. We appreciate it. But it's back. We can see, and we're very happy now. The screen is looking good. We got there in the end. Now, the main thing here I got to look at, right, is we're saying all the reasons, but to me it still seems more positive towards NRG when we're looking at it, right? What is it? Well, not for you, but you're deluded on your fantasy picks anyway, right, Pimp? I appreciate your analysis. I take it with a pinch of salt at times.
Predictions actually have very little to do with analysis. Yeah. Because, for example, in this series, in fact, for most of these quarterfinals, we've already made the point, actually, the underdog isn't ever that much of an underdog in any of these series. So it definitely can happen. And obviously, it doesn't matter what you analyze. You can only analyze the past. You can't know what can happen in the future. Like, for all we know, NBK has some throwback series, gets like plus 25, then they would win. But in this scenario, I will say, everyone who's a hater of Pimp is going to go real hard on him if they get 2-0 here. That's the problem. So I'm a little bit worried for him. You know, that's why I left the door open. He could have gone 2-1. Yeah. He's going for the bold one, though.
I don't care.
2-0, right?
He doesn't care. Yes. He doesn't care about what anyone else says, because Pimp sticks to his guns, and that's the way we like it, Pimp. And Twitch chat, you are sticking to your guns. You're going with NRG throughout this, guys. We are done. And now we're going to go to Harry and Vendetta. They're ready to drop the commentary. They're in the arena, and hopefully you guys are better set up than what we are.
I'm not making any promises there, James. So I'll be honest. However, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I'll be honest. I haven't seen much of NRG play, right? They've kind of been on the main stream, whatever. I've been doing stuff over on the V stream. I'm excited to see how Tarek slots into this roster, right? I think that's been a really interesting move. But as kind of highlighted over on the desk, right? It's going to be a game very much of individual performances, right? And we really don't know which iteration in particular of this Vitality team is going to show on up, right? And that's kind of maybe one of the issues with them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you consider the fact that, you know, on that lineup, you think to yourself, like, okay, so Zai was going to be the consistent performer, but outside of that, you know, you have 4 others who potentially could, you know, drop 30 bombs. left and right, and that should be a massive strength. But when you look at the stats, look at kind of the performances that the 4 other players have had on the side of Vitality, it's very far in between. Like, they're not able to do it at a consistent level, and that's obviously one of the reasons why nobody's been really, I guess, fully sold on Vitality as a top team just yet, and why, again, this matchup becomes that much more interesting.
Well, we're not going to have to wait all too long. It's about to be underway. NRG versus Vitality. First map, obviously, is going to be Overpass, the map pick of Team Vitality. And as we can see, they're over on that CT side, Halvor. Now, Kit for MBK, he's got the smoke as well. You look over, Zywoo here in mid, peeking mid early. He does spot that player crossing, so he's going to get the information that there are players at this side of the map, and in response to it, Alex tries to push and prod down here towards B. He's already been dropped by Ethan, so that man advantage taken early on for the North American squad.
Like, focusing more on the side of the veto just in general for this best of 3 series, I think NRG have to be super happy about actually being able to play Overpass without having to pick it. Obviously, that used to be their staple map. They haven't touched it as much in this tournament, or pretty much since Tarek became a part of the team. But we know that these guys can play it. It's going to be really cool to see how their CT side holds up as well, because that used to be one of their really, really strong points, especially that A defense with Fugly and Zerk. Now it's going to be a bit of a different dynamic.
Oh, we might not get to see the A side just yet. It's going to be this B play from NRG. Bomb still back in T-spawn, but you can see lots of players here for Team Vitality. RPK, NBK, and Apex. It's the old dogs inside of the server showing on up. Apex gets another, and Breezy wondering where this went oh so wrong. They took that man advantage onto Alex, but Apex in with 3. He steps up early, and Team Vitality going to find themselves the pistol round here.
That was brutalization from Apex right there. And I mean, if we talk about who else is going to be there with Zywoo to step up, Apex probably would be the #1 contender. Him getting off to a good start. We've seen what he can do when he gets into that kind of a go mode and just, you know, keeps on pressing W, doming people. It's also going to be a massive task for NRG to deal with as well. I mean, we talk about not finding consistency on the side of Vitality. It's not like NRG have been perfect by any stretch of the imagination either. But I mean, that's one way to get started. And BK with the scout. Ethan taken right out of it. This is a clean eco on the side of NRG though, so they don't really have too much to lose in that sense.
Yeah, they're going to be they're just going to be really looking ahead at this point, right? Focusing on buying up in that next round. Yeah, maybe the Glocks could get something done, but you're really not. Yeah, you're kind of clutching at straws here if you're NRG, hoping to get anything done in this round, and they know it. Now, going for that 3rd round buy does mean we're not going to get to see Cirque on the order just yet in the following round. Ooh, Tarek actually going to start to aggress down here towards the bathrooms, but doesn't transpire much. As mentioned, only with these Glocks. I thought maybe with the scout we could have seen something go down, could have seen something interesting. This trap from Alex pretty much solidifies it. He's dropped the bomb, and Daps, one before the Glock. Now, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, but they don't happen too often. And Daps might pick her up on RBK initially. FAMAS is going to prevail. So, nice and easy 2-0 for Vitality. Maintain a pretty healthy amount of players alive as well. Just that scout on the side of MBK going down. And yeah, as you said, again, if it's not for the forward setup on the side of Vitality, let's say it's MBK who's been on a bit of an adventure by himself, that can actually be a bit of an issue. We've seen scouts being able to not necessarily get kills, but do tag damage. Obviously, that makes pistols so much more dangerous. They survive the scare right now, but this is where the real test comes into play. AKs and plenty of utility on the side of NRG. Pretty standard default coming out from the side of the North Americans. This is also something to keep in mind as well. Pretty heavy on the SMGs on the side of Vitality as well. Treating this as a bit of a bonus round here. MP9, MP7, and UMP to their name. So only one real rifle. I say that fully knowing that the FAMAS is still in the game, but doesn't quite hold up to the AK.
No, definitely not. I mean, this is, as you kind of highlighted, the bonus round attempt from Team Vitality. They would love to try and find something now. That smoke rains in down towards long, and that's going to be enough to deter Ethan, at least for the time being. He actually falls off just to keep an eye, see if Team Vitality try to push and prod outside of this B-bomb site. Meantime, the rest of NRG turning their attention out towards long. 2 players here. Breezy slowly but surely cleared out that connector portion of the map. So they've got control of that, and this leaves that B-Rap still a possibility with Ethan holding the flank. As he starts to peel away, this looks like it could culminate in the A play. Ooh, good nade gets thrown in, but Breezy, bit of a gap in that smoke, and that will betray MBK. Kill comes through, and NRG once again sitting with the man advantage. Now, we saw this back in the pistol round. They weren't able to convert it here with the rifles. They're going to try and get it done. A great pop flash thrown in, but ZywOo, he can't quite capitalize on it. Trying to bait them into the crosshair of Apex, and he will indeed as Apex sprays down 3. This leaves Cirque all alone, and Team Vitality once again clutching back around. They haven't had, aside from that second round, they haven't had the man advantage yet, and they've still been finding them.
Yeah, again, the individuals, I mean, you alluded to it at the start, it's going to be a game of individual performances. So for Apex, been stepping in massively. 2 big 3Ks early on in the game. With a nice lineup there towards the end as well. And I mean, NRG get everything they want in terms of just being able to work with something, getting actual map control, still having utility to complete their push towards that A bomb site. It's very well done and very well held by Team Vitality, as you said, with a man disadvantage. Preventing NRG from getting on the board, and that sends them back to pistols once more.
Yeah, now on the upside, right, you're going to notice Cirque saving some extra money. That's to look to try and facilitate this AWP buy in the coming round. We weren't able to see him bring it out because they went for this 3rd round buy. You think about NRG, they are a team that like to play around Cirque when he has that AWP. Overpass as well, a map that can be dominated by a strong AWPer. Obviously, ZywOo's still rocking this MP9. He's looking to try and make some money in this round, hoping that he can bring an AWP out of his own. And MBK going to chain together along with the youngster over towards long. 1 by 1, NRG falling across the map. Team Vitality looking to take this 4th round cleanly.
Maybe some lucky connections could put a little bit of a dent into the economy. Ethan actually looks sort of way at the wrong time. Still manages to find ZywOo at the very end there, but Vitality going to be perfectly happy with this.
And now, however, the moment, it kind of been hyping up a little bit. We get to see this AWP duel between Cirque and ZywOo. ZywOo is the cash for it, and he will be bringing his out now as well. So we get to see the clash of the Titans. Full buy across the border. The first time we're going to see both teams fully invested thus far in this series. So this is really going to be, I think, where we can build up the benchmark. We've seen Vitality kind of wrecking heads thus far. Let's see now with this buy if NRG can throw a bit more their way. MBK is already out in middle. He's actually pushed up and through this defensive smoke that he threw down earlier on. Well, duck on out on the back of not spotting anyone up by the fountains. That smoke falling at ramp allowed the players to cross into the park, so he's not keen on hanging around over here in mid anymore.
I do like to see the initial assertiveness on the side of Vitality, though. They're not willing to allow NRG to get into a sense of feeling where they can take map control without having to expend utility, and that's massive.
Tell you what, though, this utility usage from Vitality thus far has been so good. I mean, it feels like in every one of these rounds we've seen a nade go out and always do, at least 50 damage to someone on NRG. It's Breezy this time to be on the receiving end of that nade from MBK. And NRG, they have got control of middle, but will they be ready for this double man hold over here towards long?
Might not be expecting it. And again, tough angles to actually clear out, being effective with utility for these kind of close quarters as well. It seems like NRG, though, the bomb as well picked up now, are actually heading over towards that B. You talked about it. Once you get control over that restroom area, or at least roughly, that allows for that quick swing over towards the B bomb site. It seems like what's in mind. Breezy, he finds MBK. MBK is consistently looking for answers and looking for information for his side. It's not going to pan out, though.
Only problem with that is that kill comes through on MBK, but Team Vitality, they're not swayed by the fact they've lost the man up on A. There's still 3 players inside of this B bomb site, and RPK, the tank, is one of them. Apex here, but Ethan's found a double. Only 4 seconds, 5 seconds as he tries to get this bomb down, but he's able to drop ZywOo first, so he saves the day. There was no time for that bomb plant. He had to get the kill.
It's such a big move as well because, I mean, yeah, they're in a 2v1, but Breezy's so far removed. He's already, rotating over from the E-bomb site, and he has no way of actually being able to help out Ethan there. So Ethan can't safely go for a bomb plant. That's something that ZywOo can obviously chase down pretty easily. Ethan missing that. If he misses that, then it's just round over. So let's bring it back, though, for NRG. But here we see the benefit of Vitality being able to keep so many players alive, but also holding on to those SMGs for a significant amount of time. They're going to have a really healthy buy. Again, up on the side of ZywOo. 3 Augs. One thing, though, you talked about how the utility usage has been pretty stellar so far. They don't have too much of it. It's around number 6. And look at the tempo here from NRG.
Yeah, this is much faster than what we're used to seeing. Tarek's already down long, and MBK, yeah, he does get a little bit caught off guard by that. He's knows he's pretty lucky to still be alive in this situation. NRG, they're not going to do anything with that blistering pace set by Tarek early on. Now they slow things right down. They have control of the connector once again, so they've set this default. This has kind of been how they've been playing this as standard, as we've come to expect.
Look at this as well on the opposite side of the map. ZywOo almost cleared out water. It's going to get found by Daps. And actually, that initially, once they thought they had control over towards that B area, they were starting to make their way over towards that A site. They wanted to gamble stack that, more or less. Now, though, no longer an opportunity. It's a quick kill from Breezy. NBK down. Apex does his best to find a return. Instead, it's going to be Alex to find 2. Daps finally makes his way onto the bomb site. 3v1 RPK. And making the wise choice here of backing out.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really can do, right? He does just have to bow out at this round. The money that Vitality had built up in those first few rounds, keeping them so clean, has all but been eroded.
Consider as well the fact that with the new money system, it is more or less the winning team that actually do get a bit punished. Ethan eager to actually go on the hunt here. It's not really in the vicinity of RPK.
I still feel like we haven't really seen teams fully adjust yet to the new economy system, right? Because, you know, you had like the tried and tested, you know, everyone knew it, everyone loved it. And these new changes have led to some interesting games, right? It definitely feels like now they do have the potential to kind of like flip-flop, right? You see like a team might go on an 0-7 losing streak, but then when that loss bonus is built up, especially over on the T side, you become such a threat, right? It almost leaves you in a position where you can, well, it does leave you in a position where you can fall by for the rest of the half if you're going to go 7 rounds down at one point in time.
All right, and as long as you keep those rounds, you know, reasonably close, then that means the CT side are going to be in for a world of hurt. See how this pans out, though. 2 rounds early on for NRG. It is actually a force buy here on the side of Vitality, too. Decided to opt in ZZ's Deagles. 3 rifles.
Gonna try and put one of those rifles to good use over here at short.
Man advantage once again is going to go the way of NRG. Something the wall back, not going to find any success. The response from Apex not leading to anything either. So I'm going to have control gain from NRG, this time over towards the B side of the map. You see, we tucked away in the corner. Oh, Daps quick to react there. Still gets a ding, so he's down to 17 HP, but gets out of dodge. And Breezy, all right. Having a bit of a tough time connecting his shots onto MBK. So that's 1 man brought back for Vitality, but still fighting an uphill battle. They have 2 players on the correct bomb site, though, considering where NRG are grouping up. Smoke to go down to delay them further. RPK is going to find Ethan as well. And now with Daps on pretty low HP, this might become a pretty significant issue for them. RPK is going to back out from long. Doesn't feel safe standing there on his own. Oh, Apex. Beautifully done.
And now Daps in this 1v3. There's no hope for him. Team Vitality, a 5th round. Apex going to be able to carry the AWP forward at that. He gets to throw that onto ZywOo. And what a start it's been from Apex, right? He has been looking phenomenal. 12 kills right now, top of the server. I think he was, what, 7-0 in the opening 2 or 3 rounds of the game. So he was having one hell of a time.
And think about how many rounds Vitality now has started off playing the game 4v5. Still managing to find success, again, off of the back of Apex Heroics 3 times at this point. Pistol round, first buy round, and obviously the previous one. NRG now. Not going to see any quick rush towards long. Not anything erratic on the side of the North Americans. Tarek actually equipped with the Mac 10. And now you can see how careful they are about actually moving up on the map, simply because the presence of MBK in the earlier rounds have really put a bit of a stuck in them. Like he's put the fear in them, more or less.
Yeah, he certainly has, right? Because that's the thing, you look at a lot of these pushes, it hasn't always netted the opening kill, right? But you can tell that NRG are very much conditioned to having to take this slow style, having to wait and see if MBK does go on the offensive, does try and find a gap in the offense of NRG. Now let's bomb over here towards long, along with Daps and Breezy. And there's Cirque opening things up. It will be MBK once again. First man to fall for Vitality. Man advantage for taking for this NRG side. Zywoo going to try and readjust to the toilets, and Ethan just blindsides of Apex, holding close to this smoke. They have gone running by. They haven't checked it, so he might be able to get into the back line. And uh-oh, Apex rapid round. Whoop, not the most convincing of sprays, and Cirque's able to trade, but only 7 seconds left. This bomb has to go down. The bomb plant has to come through. And Ethan actually saves the day, bails them out, gets the double. Once again, it's Ethan to salvage around where things get a bit dicey.
Definitely so, and for a time there, like you feel like it's history repeating themselves. You see Apex is still alive. It's just gotten around everyone. Found that sweet spot. We saw it, you know, in the North game as well on Train, right? Like being able to constantly sneak behind enemy lines versus phase. Apex just seems to have that innate timing right now. Can't do anything wrong. But yeah, just not being as crisp with the first kill doesn't allow for him to retreat, potentially fight Cirque. NRG get a third. So, quick pause. We should be getting right back into it. And again, I mean, while the force buys initially worked out for Team Vitality, they've run out of money. We'll invest a fair bit of cash here into this one as well. Zywoo not opting for armor. He wants to aim for that op later on in the rounds. See though, bit of a different look on this side of Team Vitality. Set up with a double setup towards long. MBK again towards those stairs as usual. The peek from Zywoo somehow works out.
Goes blow for blow with Tarek and does end up losing out on that duel. MBK creeping forward, might find a bit of a gap here. Ethan is keeping an eye on it, and timing's going to be everything. Ethan just misses it, so MBK could do it all, could do nothing. Let's see. He's in the back, and they don't know that he's here. Ethan turns around and takes one to the dome. MBK in with 2. And now RPK and Alex F standing. There's a real chance that they could find something in this round around it. Really, they had no business getting so much done. Daps and Tarek with just 30 seconds left, going for this long rotation all the way back through T-Spawn. Gonna culminate in this B play. No one here for Team Vitality, so they will be retaking with Alex and RPK. Long way from home for the 2 remaining Vitality players. No utility either, and that's not really the problem for NRG. They've got plenty to work with. Flash out towards long, holds back this push from Alex for the time being. RPK's up in the heaven. Mop up the first man, and now just RPK. He's going to look to try and make this that much more costly, try and get something done, and he does elude Daps initially. But he's not long for this world. NRG
Get another round on the board there. Well, 4 early on for NRG. Definitely not a bad start for them. And again, Money is on the side of Vitality. MBK doing a marvelous job finding 2 frags there, but in the end, not enough. Let's see though. Okay, this is a bit of a weird one. Tarek is sitting at 4.3, but has yet to buy a weapon. That can't be. Well, okay. That works. Boost annihilated. Cirque finds the opening frag once more. NRG have been doing such a good job of finding that opening pick in this game.
Yeah, they most certainly have, right? While it's impressive that Vitality have still been able to put up so many rounds being a man down, right? You have to look at it and say that they are consistent. Right? Yeah, right? It's, you know, feeling a bit like mutually assured destruction here for the Vitality guys. They start to leave this B-side stack. They rotate everyone away. Didn't spot anyone on that boost. NRG still with mid-controllers, still with Daps. Down here toward Connector. Now, he could very much look to keep their attention at this B-bomb site.
I'm just so curious about what the decision-making behind Tarek not buying. Is it because they want an op for Cirque in case they lose the round? Is that the thought process behind it? What it is, obviously running into what could have been a full buy round, obviously, for them with a P250 is not exactly ideal. Cheeky little boost. Apic's not going to be able to connect, but stack from Vitality doing decent damage so far. All down to RPK, though, in the end, and NRG do manage to survive the scare. 3 men surviving as well. Ethan getting off to a good start here. This time, Tarek does decide to buy up.
yeah. Well, you know, probably just for your sanity there, Halvor. But, yeah, I mean, Zywoo going to be back on the AWP over on the side of Team Vitality. But I tell you what, he's been very quiet thus far, right? And that hasn't really been the problem for NRG. Look over at Cirque. Since he's had that AWP in hand, he, yeah, he's been finding openings. He's been creating space for NRG. And the same really cannot be said for Zywoo as of yet. Ethan looking to try and secure control of short here. He's already up and through that smoke. Cirque just homing in his sights down towards the long portion of the map. Now this is where Alex and RPK reside.
RPK's angle is really tough to clear out. But again, they do have that crossfire going for them. So if RPK were to go down, Alex should be pretty set to actually get the return frag. RPK actually giving up his position there with the spam after the flash. New smoke comes down. NRG no seeming rush though. Actually, it's going to be Daps finding the opening. That's Zywoo going down again. More towards that A-bomb site. It's not going to force any rotations just yet. Daps actually, okay. Daps has found MBK as well, so that's the entirety of the A-bomb site open. Right now, NRG have no idea that this has gone, well, worked as well as it has. Well, pretty much the inevitable is unfolding here for Vitality. The second they make rotations, NRG set up in nice positions here to cut them off. Even though Apex is able to find one. Ooh. It's going to be hard-pressed to survive here.
Ooh. Uh-oh. This is becoming a very risky round for NRG. They rotate that bomb away from Monster so that they can have this trade potential set up.
They don't have a lot of time. It's 10 seconds left. Breezy's going to have to find something quick here, but Alex...
Ooh, they've just missed each other. They've just gone by. 5 seconds and Apex. He finds them both. There's no time. This flank from Breezy. NRG put so much waiting on this flank, waiting for it to come through. And they even managed to find him after the time. So that now is the money of NRG just dumpstered in one round.
And that's a 3-man advantage going to waste for NRG. I mean, I don't know how Vitality are doing this, but they keep winning the... well, most unlikely rounds.
Yeah, it's a really weird one, right? It doesn't really feel like we've seen anything that amazing from Vitality yet. And
outside of Apex, right?
Yeah, he's been looking fantastic, but it has just been these massive individual moments. You know, that's what they've been relying on. You think about that round there. He saves that round from down over towards Monster. You know, had he not stepped up, had he not answered the call, got both those kills, and that's an NRG round still. So you kind of feel like, you know, NRG maybe throwing away a couple of these rounds in which they've definitely had the man, you know, not just the man advantage, but the advantage across the board.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to put into question what NRG you're thinking here, because obviously Apex has already gotten a couple of frags leading up to this point, so how do they think they can actually go in? I mean, yeah, time is a factor, but you need to have somebody with a weapon up at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's where, you know, maybe you've overestimated the effectiveness of that flank from Breezy if you're NRG. You know, you get the information, there's no one inside of A, they try and use him to wrap into that B bomb site, and it just does not pan out for them. Time becomes the real enemy there, and you know, we can see Vitality might have won that round, but they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
They really are. Again, Utility. Vitality's been doing a pretty good job of actually maintaining, even with rather, not low econ buys, but not ideal full buys, being able to hold on to Utility to the very end of it. Could prove to be vital here as well. One of the issues on the side of NRG right now is the fact that it's, well, a minute left in the round. They only have one smoke and a Molotov. That's a pretty tough task to actually be able to take control over a bomb site that way. Might have to rely on finding some more opening picks, and they've been doing that at a pretty good pace so far, but again, Vitality just clawing back in the most unlikely ways.
Yeah, I mean, this round now we're seeing a much more measured Vitality, right? We haven't seen any of those peaks from MBK early. We haven't seen any of this prodding for information.
As you say that.
Yeah, well, you know.
The commentator's curse.
Oh, he's really keeping the meme going, but he gets dropped over at long. ZywOo swinging wide, completely blindsided by using Apex. Maybe he lets him get a little too close for comfort. And this A bomb site's crumbled. It's Alex and RPK remaining. Going to try and claw their way back into this round, but no, they give it up. They haven't found anything. The bomb's down. There's been plenty of time for NRG to set up these post plants, and you look at it, okay, they've got the smoke on Alex, but there's no kit. You know, you can hear, you can tell the bomb's going to be planted. I was going to say for toilets, but it's actually not. It's over on Optimus, but still, you know, NRG have had so much time to get comfortable inside of that bomb site. You just don't even want to give it a look in if you're Team Vitality.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the right call to make. And no team really seemingly being able to get control.
It's been a very scrappy game.
Very much so. A lot of back and forth. I mean, yes, we've seen Vitality starting off the game with a 4-0 lead and 3-round run from NRG, but still, this is very much up in the air.
I mean, you know, you look over at Vitality right now, it's Apex topping the charts. Now, as good as that is, you know, because we so often say that we need to have players stepping up alongside the likes of ZywOo. ZywOo isn't stepping up alongside the likes of ZywOo. So there's your issue if you're Team Vitality.
This might be a case of what Duncan was talking about on the desk, right? The fact that this is a still fairly new scenario for ZywOo to be in. Again, a whole different kind of pressure than what he's been used to previously. Might take him a little bit of time to adjust. Dap's going to spot one out. Ooh, gets a couple of pistol bullets right to the dome, and man advantage, actually a double man advantage in favor of NRG before we get a response from Tarek. That is 2 AKs picked up.
But look at ZywOo and Alex. They've got so much information. The issue is Team Vitality really struggling to do much with it. Okay, they might have 2 players in the back line of NRG, but the NRG squad, they're fighting on the front lines. They're not shying away from this. That bomb goes down inside of A. You're looking at this flank from Alex, and you're really hoping it can do a lot if you're Team Vitality. You know, it's kind of been the ace in your sleeve, but the problem they're going to have is that this bomb planted for toilets and no one from NRG over at long. It hasn't netted them a kill. Breezy's even now aware that this long wrap could look to come through. He's keeping an eye on it. And with these post plants, this many Molotovs, or the one Molotov on Breezy, this round feels impossible, and it almost certainly is. NRG play that one well. 3 kills for Breezy there. That's going to be them taking the lead.
Yeah, actually somewhat surprising to see that Vitality just didn't duck away. You could have held on to 2 AKs going into that. You didn't have a defuse kit, so again, likelihood of you actually coming out of that round with a victory is, I'd say, rather slim, if we're going to be realistic about it. That could have been nice. I mean, instead of having a FAMAS and RPK, you know, that could have been an AK.
Maybe Vitality, you know, that's where you kind of get duped by your own success in previous rounds.
Yeah.
Like your own ability to have clawed back rounds that you have no business winning. And look at this, complete change of pace coming in from NRG. This flat B play, all 5 players just barreling in. They've been giving a lot of respect to Team Vitality, and they try and stop that now. Maybe they should go back to being a bit more respectful here. Cirque 1v5 required, and everyone from Team Vitality just pooling into this B-bomb site right now. Even for the Bulgarian bulldozer, it's going to be a big ask. He's good for one, but that's it. And Team Vitality straight back, 7-7. And this continues to be a very, very close, very back-and-forth affair.
Oh, absolutely. Excellently held there. Not perfectly checking their angles on the side of NRG as they run in there. Get caught out by the crossfires of the Frenchman. That brings them right back into it. And again, while the buy on the side of Vitality wasn't necessarily ideal going into that last round, same can be said for NRG going into the last round of the first half. Mac 10 on Dabs, Galil on Zerk, and ZywOo peering over the smoke with an AWP. Spot a player out, but misses the shot. It's actually going to send NRG a little bit on the back foot here. Starladder deciding to give it up. A little bit of tag damage done, but Alex actually is the one to get the opening frag.
ZywOo holding close with the AWP. Now, Apex might get flashed off the angle, but ZywOo certainly has. Breezy going to follow up, but NBK here to land a helping hand, and NRG just running into the meat grinder at this point. Cirque going to get deked down, and ZywOo there to finish things off. 8-7, Team Vitality narrowly able to win out the half. Sport that one-round advantage heading into the second.
And I mean, going into the second half, no real clear indicator in terms of what we can expect. Like, no team seemingly getting a firm grasp of the game. So many of the rounds from Vitality just being clutch rounds. Again, individual performances coming in big. Apex definitely the MVP of the first half. But again, you know, on the other side, the fact that NRG are still able to get 7 rounds with how many things, I guess, didn't go their way. Rather impressive feat. We haven't really seen anyone really take off on the side of NRG either. I mean, we've had decent performances from Ethan so far. I'd say he's the one with the most impact up to this point, but again, they have a lot of firepower to work off of here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it feels like with either one of these teams, you look at this and this game could have been a hell of a lot more one-sided, yeah. But for either side, it's such a weird affair, right? You think about NRG, you think about the number of rounds that Ethan had to save by just killing before the time expired, right? There was no time left for bomb plants there, but it's likewise the same situation for Team Vitality. Now this round, heavy presence from NRG in middle. 4 players here, 2 pushing down through long and 2 securing mid. Daps, okay, does get dinked down. They're going to keep just dueling, and Cirque feels very comfortable indeed. RPK, in the blink of an eye, he's lost the rest of his team, and now he stands here alone.
Well, NRG are going to fall back for now. It's the right move to make. Don't want to necessarily give RPK an easy opening here. Question is whether or not they're just going to stay grouped and opt for trades. Seems like Breezy's only holding over. Oh, nice shot there from RPK. Quick to execute Ethan. A little bit of a split up NRG side here. Well, we don't even get to see Cirque potentially get a 4th there as Breezy executes him from the stairs. Pistol round going the way of NRG, so 1-for-1 in pistols. Splitting it evenly into Cirque. Yeah, just getting all the time in the world he needs. For a couple of well-placed shots there.
Yeah, you really like the way NRG sync that up and play off of one another, right? Yeah. The guys at Long doing a good job of distracting Team Vitality. Cirque just given free reign, as you see in the replay. And so now for Team Vitality, just going to be the flat B rush, the matchmaking classic flash through. Trying to get something done, but nothing is coming up. Team Vitality. NRG going to find absolutely everyone. And they keep 5 alive. But that buy right around the corner for Team Vitality. You're not going to put any stress on getting the AWP out on ZywOo immediately. You know, you could have seen the famous French Force buy there, second round. Look for a buy up in round number 4 if you lose it, including the AWP on ZywOo. But instead prioritizing getting the rifles out across the board, and it will be the attempt at the bonus from NRG. So
both teams are mirroring each other in that sense.
Yeah.
See, though, we saw a very aggressive stance, I guess, from Vitality when they tried this, and it's going to be the same recipe for NRG. They're not going to find success immediately, though. That's one of the rifles gone already. Well, ultimate sandwich and underpass.
Oh dearie me. NRG just claps onto Team Vitality there. Apex and RPK. What can they do? Well, Apex certainly seems to think they can get something done. The only issue he's going to have is he's been brought down very, very low in that fight. And now you are looking to RPK to try and find an exploit somewhere. Some room for Team Vitality to work with, and NRG just aren't giving anything up.
Issue for them right now is the fact that the bomb got dropped down in underpass. So, while Apex has been able to get out on the B bomb site, while RPK is freely roaming around towards the restrooms, it doesn't really do a whole lot for them. Whoever shows their face, they're going to be having to deal with Tarek. He's got that AK, he's got head armor as well. Smoke down, it's a bomb retreat. Pretty significant gap there. Oh, Apex, though, catches Ethan by surprise. That opens up the venue for B. Keep this in mind as well. No defuse kit on the side of NRG.
Yes, now in this 2-on-2, they really do have to try and find these kills quickly. Looking to try and breach in through short and monster. Tarek has already created a lot of space. He's cleared a lot of this bomb site. The issue they're going to have, bomb planted for the heavens. They throw the smoke onto it. Molotov going to rain in toward Graffiti, and Tarek on the defuse, tagged up. Apex finishes him, and RPK in with another. Team Vitality. How did they claw their way back into that? It's a 2v3. The bombs drop down in connector. Apex, I mean, it was a 2v4 at one point in time. Apex, 9 HP when he wins that fight down at short.
He's just hit that mode right now. That's really what's happening. Just so quick to snap onto Ethan there, down by water. That creates the avenue over towards the B bomb site. Even with that gap in the smoke, RPK able to make his way through. And I mean, NRG, another tactical pause. They need to talk things through because they've had, so many rounds that they should be winning out. Just not able to close it. I mean, it's partly, their own fault, but again, it's monumentous performances being put out by Vitality's players. And there's evidence number one right there, 22 frags, and we're only 19 rounds into the game.
This is some vintage Apex that we're getting to see right now. The Apex of old is in the server. I mean, for NRG, they take that attempt at the bonus in the round prior. Oh, Ethan! That boost is going to get demolished. Daps even caught in the crossfire, and those nades doing it all for Team Vitality. That is something that we do, I think, have to give them praise for, right? That's been kind of the mainstay over on their CT side, was we kept seeing the nades find so much early on. This round, it's been the thing that nets them this man advantage. Now sitting 5v4. They look pretty comfortable, especially when you look. I mean, one of the things I was trying to touch on before we saw those nades rain in is considering it was the bonus round attempt from NRG in the round prior, there really isn't much invested into this round. They don't have all that much to play with. You can see one smoke on Tarek is really all they've got in terms of utility to throw down to delay a play from Team Vitality.
Wow. I think that's why we're seeing NRG actually just gambling a little bit here. 3 players over towards that B bomb side already. Daps can't play too much with fire. Low HP, just only going to take 2 bullets through that wooden panel to down him. And in the French come.
MBK with the opener, Tarek going to answer back, and Breezy just navigating this bomb site, isolating these fights and almost able to deny the bomb plant, although not quite. 2v3 definitely going to tip its hat in favor of NRG, but RPK and Alex left standing, and we've seen Vitality in these 2vx's win them out countless times. They don't have the frag machine that is Apex to rely on. Instead, they've got the tank down in pit. Now he does manage the first man. Alex over at short, tapped the bomb, and Breezy finishes him. Doesn't have a kit, but there's still time, and NRG, they will salvage a 10th round.
It will. Obviously, it's going to take a bit of a hit on their economy as well. Not going to be a perfect buy coming into this, so we might actually see a force coming in here from Vitality. We might smell blood in the water. 4.2 on Zaiwu, 4.3 on Alex. It's definitely enough to get AKs, armor, couple of nades as well. They're going to opt for a more conservative route, though. Not something you see every day with French teams. Yeah, just middle of the pack investment. Only Apex really running low there. It's up to 1,200, but shouldn't prevent them from getting a bye in the following round. Pretty quick tempo there on Alex. Trying to pass into water. Ooh, triple nade, okay.
Vitality have got homing nades. Someone needs to stop this. Alex in with another. NRG. Uh-oh. Okay, Zywoo's helped them out a bit. Because he's going to take down MVK. And it was looking promising. It was looking good. The nades are perfect. The site take's looking good. They find the opener. But then things start to fall apart. The cracks start to show.
Crowd getting into it.
Love to see it.
There we have it, though. So, by coming in from Vitality, this is...
Oh, there's an orb for Serg. There
Yeah.
we go, he realized. Okay, that's good. Didn't need the MP9, but... not going to cause them too many problems at the very least. It looked like they were going to try and go for the mid peak there, but actually Serg getting caught having to go back for the AUG has somewhat slowed down this defense over towards A, and that's given Vitality control of Connector, you know, instantly and for free at that.
Yeah. Seems like NRG wants to set up for a bit of a bait and switch setup over towards long. Cirque's going to be the only player towards site. Just not actually spot the French players moving up close to the left.
And I mean, this is just a slaughter, Alex. Nothing's going their way. Vitality walking in to the stack inside of that A-bomb site, and they get cut down as a result.
The timing of that rotation from Daps just coming in just at the right time, because you can see Cirque actually doesn't spot out the two first players moving their way up on the side of Vitality. If Daps hasn't made that rotation, if he's 3 seconds slower, all of a sudden you've got a bomb set that's in complete disarray. Obviously, Tarek pushed up with long. He's going to be isolated. He doesn't have any way to actually get in and help his teammates. Luckily, we see the crossfire coming through for NRG. That's going to be a 12th for them. And I think this is the first time in the game, really, we can say that one of the teams have somewhat gotten a grip of what's going on, and in the sense of actually having a bit of momentum.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a weird one, right? For Vitality, they seem to have the read, at least you can tell, right, with their utility usage. That's been on point. So
yeah.
They have a clear understanding of how NRG are playing this, but it just feels like when they get into the nitty-gritty, when they get into the site take, it's the actual duels that just aren't materializing for them. And, you know, you imagine a lot of that coming off the back of the fact that, you know, Zywoo's having a pretty quiet game. Apex, even in this second half, has slowed down a bit, but kind of stands the question, how much can you expect just one man to do? I mean, this round, this partial investment from Team Vitality, already we see the first man fall. It's into this crossfire down in mid between Cirque and Tarek. More bodies hit the ground, but it's all on the French side. Rotate up through Connector, completely blindsides Apex and RPK, and that's the round. NRG keeping things very, very clean, and that's a worrying sign of the times when you're staring down the barrel of a 9-13 scoreline if you're Team Vitality.
Yeah, I mean, considering now, yeah, there's a 4-win win streak on the side of NRG, and normally you'd think to yourself, like, okay, maybe with the new economy, maybe there's a chance for Vitality to get back into this once they win a round, but because they've done it so cleanly for the better part of it, there's a hefty amount of money on the side of NRG. Cirque nearly sitting at 10K. He's not even going to bother to upgrade to the AWP, finding that the AUG is doing perfectly proficient job. Look at this from Tarek, though, through the smoke. How aggressive is he going to be here? Does get spotted out.
Yeah, Alex was waiting for that, and now he's certainly got the attention of Team Vitality. Dropping that smoke, that will just facilitate the fullback. So they're not able to punish that aggression from Tarek over on the French side.
Yeah, they're just going to go all the way back as well. We saw Vitality at times staggering a little bit, trying to set up positions towards Restroom, not falling all the way back towards the side, at least one or two players at times. Instead, we can see Cirque, bit of a boost. Going to jump up on top of the flower bed instead to hold off long. That's going to allow for Tarek to rotate back. For now, though, Vitality still using their time to slowly grab control over restrooms. Do also have enough utility here to set up any sort of execute, regardless of what bomb site they opt for. Cirque's actually going to drop down. This might catch him out. There we go. He's actually going to get the drop on RPK, but ZywOo there quick to respond.
I mean, that's one of the first kills for ZywOo in quite a while at this point in time. He does finally have the AWP over on the T side, and okay, now maybe we're starting to see the ZywOo we wanted to see. A second kill comes through. Naps here alone, and he's going to get toppled. ZywOo with a third. Ooh, there we go.
Speak of the devil.
That's what we wanted to see. 4 kills from him in that round.
That puts him into double digits as well, and yeah, as well as Apex has been playing, it seems like Vitality's issue a lot of the times the fact that there's only one player at a time being able to step up. If they can get ZywOo going, it's going to be a big issue for NRG. But again, we do see the benefit of being able to keep rounds rather clean, so it's going to be a full buy coming up from NRG as well, and this time Cirque has an AWP to his name.
Vitality. Change of pace this time around, not focusing on that connector, not turning their attention in towards middle. This time it's just 4 players to this B bomb site early, so we might just see this set piece into B, see what Vitality have up their sleeve. I believe they attempted a nade stack, but it didn't work out. Where's Ethan? Able to dispatch of Apex. Breezy still holding at the barrels, but ZywOo dispatches a 4 on floor. Molotov wants to Breezy. That forces him into the hand of MBK. Adapts. Now having to try and answer the call effectively. Was in a 1v4 there inside of the B-bomb site. Tarek blindsided by the aggression from MBK. And Cirque, well, this one feels a little too unrealistic. Team Vitality will be reaching an 11th round.
And again, the prominent point that you put it out earlier, the fact that Vitality, they're doing such a good job of making the most out of their utility once they're getting ground. Even though the nade stack doesn't work out this time around, you do see the Molotov again forcing NRG players out of position where they get caught in the open. Just time and time again. It has to be like one of the biggest reasons why they're still fighting for this. So not going to be an active hunt on the side of Vitality for Zerk. Just going to allow him to hold on to that AWP. See, we're just making sure that no shenanigans are about. Also, in the last 2 rounds, 5 frags for the young Frenchman. Might be the beginning of the end, really, for NRG if he gets going. Well, hopefully we can get to see more out of that duel, obviously, with ZywOo and Zerk. Another timeout being taken here by NRG. So they're definitely making the most out of their timeouts to talk things over. Done it in pretty much every case, any scenario where they've started losing grip of the game.
Yeah, but we've kind of entered these murky waters now towards the end of regulation when neither team's really going to have that much money banked up, right? They're both going to be teetering on the edge of resets.
Yeah.
You know, definitely NRG looking the worst of the two right now. Team Vitality could stomach a loss and still feel fine and get a buy up, which, you know, very good for them and very good for the fact that this game then stands the potential to go that much longer, right? Because you don't just have them 14-11 having a force buy, having to try and, you know, gimmick their way back into it. But NRG, their economy is very much on the tipping point now, and this becomes a very important round because this is how Vitality get back into this game. You know, they've been able to grind out the last couple. They've started to find their footing with ZywOo. This is the round that you win if you're Vitality, if you want to take this first map.
Look at the early aggression here. Well, I say aggression, but early gamble, I guess, on the side of NRG. 4 players immediately towards that B-bomb site. Well, with Apex going down there through Monster, it might actually keep them there as well. Tarek's pushed far down into Underpass as well, but look at the trio of Vitality here over towards Long. That A-bomb site is completely open. There's nobody nearby. Tarek is going to hear this, though. It's the footsteps of Alex moving over towards that A-bomb site. That's going to force a rotation as well. Stark, Breezy, even Ethan slowly making their way over, but it might be too late here. Vitality taking their time, making sure they get the bomb plant down. Nobody lurking about on the site. Oh, well, how do you play this if you're NRG? Bit of an interesting plan on the side of Vitality, though, not opting for the restroom plan. Tarek, though, with the long flank as well.
Yeah, they've planted bankside, which feels like a real risk to take. Ethan. And Tarek slowly but surely eroding this defense. And now they're on the defuse. ZywOo going to miss that shot. And NRG, a 14th round. It was looking a bit dubious, right? They're sitting in that 5v4. You understand that maybe if they lose someone there, they just decide to save, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're staring down the barrel of that eco in the following round. But they just barrel through and they catch everyone from Team Vitality. That flank from Tarek really comes into its own as well. Allows them to deal with the man on truck.
Yeah, it becomes a bit of an issue for Vitality with, well, the bomb plant that they decide to go with towards bank area. That allows, well, pretty much denies them any way of actually getting out of the bomb site. You get very easily bogged down.
You imagine, right, the thinking must have been, okay, they're not B, they've probably gone aggressive, right? And so maybe we can look to try and take control of CT, try and cut off the rotations. And then you hear all those footsteps up into the bank and you're like, oh, we have
we made a mistake.
We've screwed this one up. And for Vitality, I mean, they grinded hard to get back to this scoreline, but it might have all been for nothing. Ethan, quick double, turns this round back in favor of NRG, and they're even going to assemble this boost up over the top. It doesn't spy anything, and RPK will at least net that equalizer back into this 3-on-3. As Apex now meandering his way out through Monster slowly but surely. So many angles to keep an eye on. Ethan and Breezy here, and I don't think he saw them there.
Oh, just barely ducking under their crosshairs. Oh, this could be a disaster for NRG. Question is, how patient is Apex going to be? How long is he going to wait for his opportunity? Oh, this is smart as well. This is where you know you have them by the balls.
Oh, no. First man down, Apex. Nope, not going to find Breezy, so just a tease, and now Breezy here alone. Dap slowly but surely going to be clearing out mid, and now maybe we'll look to rotate in through connector. So he will be here to help out reasonably quickly, but Breezy's still going to have the brunt of the pressure to hold this down, and ZywOo doesn't spot him. RPK suddenly thrust into the 1v2, does manage to pick up the first man. It's Daps versus RPK, 10 seconds left, and he anticipates it's going to be the heaven wrap.
He doesn't realize where the flash came from. Well, now that's going to give it away. Or should at least.
Oh no, okay, here's the footsteps. Finally, 3 kills for RPK. He's given a lot of cues there.
Yeah, if you give him enough opportunities, eventually he will get onto it. But that could have been very dangerous. I'm actually surprised. Obviously, Daps throws the flash pretty quickly after RPK gets the first frag. Doesn't actually go on it. It's like almost Daps expected RPK to be more aware of what was going on around him. Man. Very, very close round. And I mean, it didn't end up being Apex, obviously, with the sneaky play that saved them in the end. But it's just so back and forth between these two teams. And NRG spending their 4th and final timeout. Need to get things right. I mean, you talked about how they ran into the issue with their economy being on a bit of a tipping point. That's still going to be the case. Whether or not they want to invest into this, it's not going to be a great buy, but it might get to match point early on. Or if you're going to play with a little bit of a cushion you have, being up 14-12.
Yeah, and I think if you're NRG, you want to have everything you possibly need. You want all the bells and whistles. They know that they can take a partial investment here. They can still find something. They can still keep Vitality's money down in the dumps, right? They can still keep them in that position where all it takes is one victory, and then you're at map point, and you've got Vitality, right where you want them, having to take those 4 spies. It does rely on finding some good damage here in this round, and already MBK starting things off with that initial kill. Now Alex is going to look to try and pincer on round. Well, they anticipate Breezy. RPK certainly has, and Daps, yeah, he really wants to try and find something here to have made this round worth it.
Might hope to scavenge a weapon. Outside of that, obviously, the round is going to go the way of Vitality. So well dealt with the stack on the side of NRG. No real problems being caused for Vitality. They're able to go into the next round with a pretty healthy buy, and again, building up enough bank to the point where they would be able to buy up even if NRG were to grab match point. Or map point, I should say. Well, there we go. Here's the kill Daps was looking for. We need to make sure he doesn't die to the bomb, and AK successfully saved. Maybe that. It's going to prompt the buy from NRG as well, as you said. They want all the bells and whistles. Circus going to have that AWP, and now looking at the frag leaders. This is early, like, the order of it hasn't changed too much, but you have to consider the fact that Apex was sitting at 22 frags at round 19. We're now going into round 28, and he's got 23. So he's slowed down a little bit, but luckily for him, everyone else on the side of Vitality have stepped up to the call.
Yeah, I mean, this was 14-9 at one point in favor of NRG, so Vitality have very much been grinding their way back into this game, or 13-9 rather, but still.
Significant lead, nonetheless.
It's Team Vitality trying to take control of middle. They clear connector in the process. Once again, this leaves that option to go for the fast rotation down to the B-bomb site, throw in an A-side fake.
This has kind of been their go-to method of taking control over this area as well, and they've been doing it way quicker than what we saw with NRG. We haven't really ran into a situation where Vitality have been pressed for time in the same fashion. Tarek, though, is posted up nicely to potentially deal with Alex once he gets a move on. Problem is, though, Long is just completely open, and that's where the majority of Vitality finds themselves right now.
Yeah, without even realizing it, they've bypassed this double-man hold inside of the toilets of Cirque and Tarek. Now, Apex might spot this, and if he does, you're going to look to Alex to try and trade back, but that's why Tarek's posted up, playing this bait and switch, and now the second Apex looks to try and trade. Cirque should be there to find it, but with the players breaching this A-bomb site, Apex's wrap round actually nets them the kill onto Cirque. And now Daps and Ethan suddenly thrust into a 2v4. It was looking good for NRG. But not ready for that three-man long play from Team Vitality. And for Daps and Ethan now, I mean, look at the money. It's dismal over on this NRG side. Likely just going to see that save come through, because really these weapons are going to be all they have left to try and hold back Team Vitality now.
They really need to hold on to it. The problem is Vitality are so aware of this. You can see Apex already on that B-bomb site. He was just in restrooms. He just legged it immediately. He's going to find Ethan. And Daps, are you really going for this?
10 seconds, no kit? No, he's just going to look to exit through Long. Got his running shoes on. 14-14, they're all tied up by Team Vitality. And there has been a real swing in the momentum in these last few rounds. Vitality able to take them pretty cleanly and concisely at that.
5 out of the last 6 for the Frenchman. Really that clutch situation for RPK, putting Vitality into this position. And now it's their time to take a tactical timeout. Want to talk things through, make sure they don't run into anything nasty. And again, what do you do here if you're NRG, right? Like, do you want to go for, obviously you want to go for the win, but that might not be a feasible option. And it's a bitter pill to swallow at this stage, having been in the lead, having so many opportunities to actually get to match point and being in the driving seat. Now they just have to eco going into what will be the last round of the match. So right now, Vitality should be able to clean this up, all things, if everything pans out as it should. You see the 4-man stack once again coming in from NRG towards the B-bomb site. They're going to do the 3-man boost. Might net them a quick kill or two. Dabs taking a nade to the face from MBK. NRG not actually opting to like stay in the 3-man tower entire time, just waiting for a sound cue potentially. Maybe somebody opening the squeaky door. Instead of just peering their eyes there the entire time. Actually, they're going to back off of it as well now, so no surprise coming in there. Vitality again, just getting long control. Definitely had a different approach to how they want to get restroom and general area from what NRG used to do. Been able to hold on to a decent amount of utility as well. 2 Molotovs still in the hands of the French. And enough smokes to cover off Bank and Stairs as well. Alex is going to peer forward though. Does have 3 teammates in the back as well. Onto the site we go.
Yeah, now push cover. Breezy double deke, 2v2 and a chance here. Lots of damage onto MBK and he gets helped out by Ethan. Apex once more going to get stepped up. Or rather asked to try and clutch, but Breezy and Ethan, they do everything. NRG going to reach map point somehow, some way with a USP and a Deagle. They reach 15, and now it is Heartbreak Hotel for Team Vitality, right? They can drop these weapons across, they can redistribute this money a little bit, so they still have everything they need. But that is just heartbreaking if you're the French squad. There is no way you give that round up.
It really is. There shouldn't be any way. And again, like you see the Molotov they put down over towards Optimus, not deep enough to where it actually forces Breezy out of position. That nets him 2 kills right off the bat. Wow. There you go, yeah. Breezy being able to, actually the fact that he sees anything through that Molotov is impressive. He's really stepped up here in the second half. All right, now topping everyone on the server, 27 frags to his name. So what do Vitality opt to do?
It's going to be back towards middle. NRG this time. They've been very, very quick and very aggressive at securing control of this short area down towards B. Ethan and Breezy with this crossfire set up and Daps just waiting back inside of the bomb site. In the meantime, Team Vitality, they've got connector control. MBK's secured it. Alex is already out in top mid. Tarek and Cirque lie in wait if they did decide to hit this A bomb site, but they decide, let's go back toward B. That bomb rotating away, and this is where 3 players were for NRG. They've just rotated Daps off, so you need to see this short play from Ethan and Breezy materialize. It has to find something, and MBK decapitating the first man as Ethan to try and step up, but Alex shuts him down. And now Daps, he has rotated back towards B. He stands here alone, and he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. That might be too much to bear, but Tarek has alleviated some of it. They faked the bomb plant the first time around, and this buys a little bit more time for NRG to set up. So 3v3 to try and take this through to overtime for Team Vitality. Bomb planted for short and 2 players there. No smoke over on the side of NRG, so they have to be winning these gunfights. Zaiwu, he's the point man, and he's a little bit more than that. Tarek, 1v3, but Zaiwu, the hat trick. And we're heading to overtime. First map of the day, Halvor. And we are going more than all the rounds.
All the rounds, the bonus rounds as well. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better start. Yeah, couldn't ask for a better start to the match here. First quarterfinals. And wow. And the fashion Vitality do it as well. It's scrappy the entire time. They managed to do it without Saiwu having a great game as well. I mean, they have so much more extra to potentially, you know, work with once the game extends. Both teams have been active with their timeout usage. That's going to come into play here going into OT as well. They don't really have that at their disposal anymore. Not alive.
No, I mean, not only is there much love when we go OT, but there's also not many pauses left either. So this is going to come into play for both teams. You know, obviously, you kind of see for Vitality, they've been pretty keen in using them to kind of mentally reset themselves, restructure how they're going to play rounds, and we frequently see them win rounds on the back of it. They don't really have that luxury now.
See now, different setup on the side of NRG, not opting for the early 4 towards B to stem off any sort of immediate B push. But again, we're not seeing as much aggression just from that A hold. I mean, back when they were playing with Fugly and Cirque, and Fugly were the ones to hold down that A bomb side, it does feel like we saw more aggression coming out of them at times, peering for information, having Cirque be a little bit more free in his role. That said, though, Vitality, they've taken all kinds of freedom over towards that B bomb site. 2 men down. Retake scenario once more. Ethan's going to find one through the smoke. That's Apex down. 3v3. More smokes on the side of NRG. No Molotovs, though. Let's see how they approach this. Alex is in a very good position here to at least get one. Worst case scenario. And he could just sit here waiting until he gets any sort of confirmation from one of his teammates.
Yeah, now the trap has sprung. Alex is just wasting time, and Cirque, even though he's dealt with the nuisance in the corner, there is just no hope for him here. He's got to bow out of this round. Oh. Not today, not today. 16 to 15, obviously. 19, the magic number we're looking for.
Zaiwu making sure that they take no prisoners. There you go. That's a bad feeling if you're Cirque right there. Managed to get across the gap. Feel like you might be safe, hold on to that op going into the next round. And now we're actually seeing double ops coming out on the side of NRG. So, using every page of the playbook once we get into OT. And, well, Zaiwu's definitely feeling it right now. That's...
Oh! Zaiwu! That's it. B's his. Pack it up with on NRG. They're out of this round almost definitely, surely. Zaiwu looking for more. And you bet he's tempted by the wallbang, but he's not going to let that be his first shot. Tarek just trying to bait this shot from the AWPer of Vitality. The issue is Apex bounding through connector is already there. And Cirque, once again, same situation as last time, only this time that much worse. 1v4 not happening. He wants to hold on to the AWP, take it with him into the next round.
Just be careful you're not, you know, near any sort of, near any sort of penetrable wall. Because I was going to find you. But wait, how often do you see that? Like, 3-man opening from short with an AWP. Doesn't happen every day. Saiwu's definitely woken up here. He's showcased why he's so highly regarded in spurts here so far in this game, and now really getting into it could be the deciding factor. It's a well-deserved round of applause from the audience once he gets on the big screen. He gets to relive the moment as well.
This one onto Daps is the bit of a mystery, you know. He just gets caught. I think he thinks the Molotov has already flushed him out from the sandbags. And maybe deeper, anticipating that he's fallen back, you know, before that molly pops. And you kind of see when he twigs, like, oh, I'm dead. Like, he sees him at the corner of his eye. And yeah, at that point, really, what can you do? Now, double AWP here for NRG. Going to be split between Cirque and Ethan. Yeah, maybe that's the change that they needed. Yeah, they're going to try and go toe-to-toe with Zaiwu, and they might need 2-man to answer the call.
It's a tough situation for NRG to be in right now because, again, we've seen a lot of these sudden bursts onto the B-bomb side being so successful for Vitality to the point where NRG can't necessarily feel too okay about their just standard 3-man defense. On the side of NRG, we saw them more. No, Vitality, they were leaning more towards actually having 3 players more or less permanently towards that A bomb site. It's just the fact that NRG haven't really been able to put a stop to it on a consistent basis that leaves them a bit spread thin. Tarek, though, is going to open things up. He finds RPK at long. Does not know Alex is lurking about, but Alex actually deciding to fall back. They're going to go back to B. It's been working so well for them up to this point, so why not give it a go again? Shadow's going to give away Apex. Easy kill for Ethan.
Oh, no. These Shadows have really betrayed Team Vitality now. Ethan, another shot, and
third time's the charm, maybe?
Yeah, 4th time. Nope. Alex able to mop him up finally, but these rotations are already here. NRG overrunning the bomb side. It's MBK thrust into the 1v3 clutch. Now he has dropped Tarek. Not ready for the peek from Daps. alive, still fighting. Cirque on the AWP up in heaven will solidify that 16th round. So NRG, they at least managed to scrape together one at the end of this first half of OT.
Vitally important for NRG to get something out of their CT side. Although that said, I mean, it was a back and forth affair. Both teams grabbing respectively 8 and 7 rounds on each side. So not necessarily an indication that this is going to be what saves NRG by any means. Now, though, it remains to be seen what they can do on their T side. It does feel like the momentum lies with Vitality as of right now. Well, they managed to crawl back into it. I mean, significant lead, as you mentioned, on the side of NRG nearing the end of regulation.
But it's just been such a back and forth game, right?
It really has.
I still don't know if I could say, oh yeah, well, Vitality, they're looking the better team. Now, the one helpful thing is that we do have ZywOo showing up, right?
Yeah.
And this is demonstrated here. You can see since getting that AWP in hand, he's been so much more dominant than the likes of Cirque. 2 top performers in the server. Apex still kind of, being carried forward by his strong performance in that first half. It did very much fall off over in the second. I think we managed to see him, muster 1 kill in 10 rounds in that second half. So, but somewhat negated by the fact that now we do have ZywOo here. And once again, there we go, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. He's making NRG quake in their boots right now. They might have made a mockery of this man early on, but it's very much not the case anymore. Cirque, as noted, we haven't really seen all too many AWP kills from him. He does have it back in hand, but he gets flashed off from the barrels. Going to reposition and wait, see if anyone from Vitality is keen on re-peeking this position, which can't imagine they will be.
Right now, with that opening frag on the side of Vitality, they've opted for a 3-man defense on B. It's going to be the right call as well. RPK gets the drop on Ethan, and in we go. 2 quick trades though. Might actually find a third here as Apex gets dinked. Very low HP on the side of NRG, and there we go. Early Christmas present from MBK. And Cirque also buys Lonesome. He's going to get overran by Apex. There you go. So much damage being done as they come through Monster. Well, we talked about it early. We haven't seen it as much towards the later stages of the rounds, but yeah, Vitality's utility usage proving to be very effective at times.
MBK's been putting magnets in the frag grenades or something at this point.
Why don't more people do that?
Yeah. It really does leave you wondering. I mean, that is picture perfect nade. He even does so much onto Cirque. And now Vitality, it's them to reach map point here. 18 to 16. We need to see 2 rounds in a row from NRG if they want to take us through to a double overtime. But this time they have at least been able to deal with the nuisance, the problem that is ZywOo. Not Kyo anymore.
ZywOo is presenting all kinds of different problems right now. And again, we're seeing a more proactive CT side on the side on Vitality. Apex with a much more forward positioning on long compared to what we saw out of NRG. But again, it's that quick trade. Double kill coming in on that B bomb site. And NRG, they just got full control.
For Apex and MBK, I mean, yeah, they may as well take a look in, right? They may as well see what they can find, because you're in overtime, you're still going to be buying every single round. And they have been good in these 2vx's, but yeah, this should be a 17th for NRG, and there's Cirque looking to try and make it so. MBK, 1v4. Not happening, is it? And that will be NRG, now 1 away from another overtime. We saw ZywOo be the first man to fall in that round. In every single one of these overtime rounds, I'm pretty sure he's been the man finding the openings. And not just that, I mean, it's been like multi-kills, you know? It's not just taking one man with you, it's taking all 3 that are there to try and deal with you.
Right now, what was working so well for Vitality, which was that B, I guess, sudden push. It's doing wonders for NRG as well. Need to see if one of the teams eventually decides to stack up fully on that B bomb site. Maybe potentially leave an Opera as a solo defender on A. See if that does something for them. Ethan working about in the tunnels towards short. Not going to push through this smoke, though, and ZywOo posted up on site.
Alex over here with that secondary AWP short. He's been blindsided by Ethan. No one in position to trade that out either or try and reclaim something else elsewhere. You can desperately see they try and get some information from it. They try and make it worthwhile, but all that's done is mean that RPK takes one of the leg from Cirque. And now he's been brought down within inches of his life. Very much has the potential to head on through to a second overtime. NRG 5-on-4. They sit with the man advantage. Player wrapping around over towards long. That's going to be Tarek. He's just responsible for keeping Team Vitality's attention at this A bomb site. Deny these early rotations. Spraying on through. He's done more than that. He's actually taken down that first man. Breezy's in with another. It's ZywOo and Apex left standing, and now only Apex remains. 25 seconds on the clock. And he's here alone. The wrap from Tarek should solidify this round, but it's going to be Breezy to make it so. Double overtime in the bag.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, this very scrappy affair continues in overtime.
So the B-bomb site seems to be the name of the game for both teams here at the very tail end of the match. The question is, like, who's going to be, I guess, do something proactive on their CT side first, right? Are we going to see more short control trying to be gained from one of the sides? We saw NRG attempt that quite a few times during regulation. Or if we're just going to see a 4-man passive stack, that kind of a thing. Remains to be seen. And again, like, teams don't really have too much time to actually adjust to the things that are happening because, like we mentioned, going into overtime is the fact that timeouts are gone. They've spent all of them. So now they just really have to rely on how good they are at adapting on the fly.
Yeah, I feel like the risk, if your Team Vitality of stacking just 4 players down in B is obviously, we've seen the likes of Tarek and Daps. They've been probing mid, right? They've been checking for these stacks. They've been keeping the attention of Vitality divided. This round, once again, mid control going to be the order of the day. And it looked like for a second we might have seen ZywOo try and hold connector. He ducks down into it. And as a result of changing his mind, a bit of indecisiveness, he gets caught crossing out in middle. He's the first man to fall once again for Team Vitality. And this just seems to be the reoccurring problem. Like when he's taking these early peaks and it's working, it looks great. And it's netting them the rounds. But these last few, in particular the last 4 rounds for Team Vitality, it just hasn't. It's grinded to a halt. And since then, we've been seeing NRG taking these 5-on-4s in their stride and converting them to round wins.
So one of the things that is really impressive by, if you look at a team like Team Liquid, how they play their overpass is that they always have, again, that setup that allows you to get a trade or allows your players to back out of an aggressive position to then fall back to a site. That's not really the case for Vitality a lot, in a very few of these situations. As you mentioned, the fact that we're seeing ZywOo kind of go off on a solo mission while MBK is posted up semi-aggressively over towards long, but there's no connection between them. Allows for energy to just get an opening, calm down, reassess the situation.
And that very much explains why we saw so many big individual highlight clips, right?
Yeah.
From these Vitality guys. You take a look at how NRG have been posted, and whenever they have been 3K'd, whenever they have been double killed, they have at least always had players nearby that were supposed to trade, that were supposed to play off of one another.
Yeah.
And, as you kind of said very early on in the first half of this game, it's just not sustainable, right, to be playing this very individualistic style for the French squad.
Becomes very difficult to do. And I mean, we've had, I guess, hot flashes from the various players on Vitality, which is, again, netted them rounds. We saw Apex, obviously, with a crazy, crazy first half. ZywOo having, I'd say, 2 spurts in this matchup where he really just puts his mark on the game, but again, it's not consistent. Haven't been able to build off of it. So even though there's a solid amount of fragging on the side of Vitality, still lacking that last 10%. ZywOo a little bit more assertive with his positioning this time around. Not going to stick around in the middle of nowhere. But again, pretty significant separation between MBK and ZywOo over on this A side. Head offered up, ZywOo not able to connect. There we go, MBK, that secondary op, he's going to find the first kill. That's Tarek. Probably catches him off guard a bit, considering, well, we haven't seen too much double ops.
RPK flushed out into the open, but that doesn't seem to matter. Not with Apex and Alex putting up numbers. And Cirque trying to find something, trying to isolate that fight with the one player on short. Crossfire set up between Apex, though, there facilitates that quick double peek into him. And now last round of this first half of the second overtime in this game. Quite the mouthful. Definitely doesn't roll off the tongue. But Team Vitality, they've got this double op setup. They've maintained that at the very least between ZywOo and MBK. Obviously there is the thing that nets them, that initial man advantage. The question now becomes, is can it deliver once again?
Well, that is the question. Now there's no more surprise element to it. They've actually gone with a very different setup. This is kind of what we were alluding to might be the case, you know, towards the later stages of OT. The fact that you just leave a solo opper on the side of A to fend things off. And I mean, you can't really fault Vitality for this kind of a read. Again, NRG found so much success with their B executes. Same thing for Vitality, really, ever since OT started. So just propping up that B bomb site early on, definitely not a bad call. Now, though, they have rotated away, so it's going to be Apex and MBK. Over towards A, and, well, Ethan to punish ZywOo. So over towards Monster. Yet again, opening kill going the way of Vitality.
Oh, MBK. Second. Okay, immediately traded by Breezy, but still, bomb now retrieved, and one man inside of this A-bomb site. It's RPK. Org on the truck. 25 seconds left. He's looking to try and buy time, and he's bought a little bit more than that, and they're pushing on in. And RPK, another, rising to the occasion. Cirque just sticking the bomb plant. It's balls of steel. And over the top, but RPK, the hat trick from him, rising to the occasion, and it's a drive-by from the truck, 20-19. Team Vitality once again winning out this first half of overtime. And are we going to see history repeat itself, Halvor? Or is this going to be finally the Frenchmen converting their map pick?
That remains to be seen, but right now there's not a whole lot separating these two teams. I mean, again, it's a scenario where Vitality go down. And man, you know, early on in the round, NRG not able to capitalize off of it. Question of, like, how long can that be the case? Like, how long is that going to last for Vitality? How many times are they going to be able to climb back into it? Well, we might get the answer right now. As we see RPK on his heroics.
Yeah, he does a stellar job of using that one smoke that gets thrown in from NRG to his advantage, right, to actually break up those fights and isolates them into a series of one-on-ones that we're able to see him close out. So now, Vitality, if you recall, they had pretty good success over on their T side in that first overtime. It was where they found the bulk of their success. They only need 2 rounds here, and already a bit of chip damage exchanged between Daps and MBK.
Now, though, NRG going back to a setup that they used a fair few times during regulation. This Apex actually is going to find Tarek. But yeah, it's the aggressive water control for NRG. So even though they do go down a man, they still have pretty decent control here, and that allows for Daps to rotate over towards A. That is where the bomb and the side of Vitality finds itself as of right now. Just going to rotate off now as we say that. Full-on rotation as well, so no real map control gain. Nothing really pushed back on the side of NRG as well. They get to play restrooms for the time being. But Ethan, he's going to have a lot of work to do because NRG have actually made just a blind rotation over towards A here. Breezy's left Ethan completely alone. Oh, he actually spots him as well. Not really sure how aware Vitality is of the fact that Ethan might actually swing out behind Monster. Well, that's going to give it up at least. Ethan has been found out.
Breezy making it possible, making it happen. Breezy They're not able to put a stop to him, and now Apex trying to rise to the occasion. 4 from Breezy. He's looking for the ace. He's hungry for it. MBK makes his presence known, but the Molotov burns him out. He's going to land it. But uh-oh, Cirque has to get on this bomb. He's going to tap it. He's actually sticking it. And MBK round in the corner. It's not planted for him. He's a little bit too late. So close in spite of his best efforts. But Cirque, balls of steel, sticks the defuse, and now we're all tied up 20-20.
That is pretty nuts. And yeah, as you see a little factoid there, Vitality yet to lose a LAN game on Overpass. This could be the first one. And at this point, it might just keep going.
Just forever.
Yeah. Might just be the one game of the day.
We'll overstay our visas. It's all downhill. Let's see. Yeah.
At least we would be treated to some pretty fantastic CS. And this is a new take on it. Tarek, very far pushed forward over towards A, but only one player on B. Ethan actually being able to adjust, find MBK. Alex has made his way out of Monster, and this is the overhanging issue with the setup on the side of NRG. I've gotten one more man down in there. That's Daps. Let's take the initial attention away from Breezy.
The issue Vitality are going to have is, yeah, they've got this round over here from Alex, and okay, no, maybe not now. Tarek on this wrap round was what I was going to highlight, right? It's allowed for this rotation to come in from NRG. They've got this stack just outside of the B bomb site, but the bomb plant still comes through. Zaiwu just missing the timing there, still spots Tarek on the wrap round, so that gets signaled onto Apex. Bomb is down and planted for short, and NRG here knocking on the door of the French squad. Now already in the bomb site. Smoke for short, rains in, and Apex on the other side. Deletes Ethan, deletes the point man for NRG. Zaiwu still wasting time, but they're on the defuse.
Someone's doing it again.
Uber, and Cirque down. Breezy, good for one. RPK left in this clutch, and 3 HP on Breezy. There's no time, not a hope in the world. RPK heard the
jump.
The gun dropped, and yeah, I mean, everyone dies in the server, but it's Team Vitality to reach map point here. 21-10. 21-20 rather. Been a long game.
It's been a long game. It's a lot of numbers to keep track of.
You want to see a lot of numbers, right? Look at Breezy. 44 kills in this double overtime game.
That is just craziness. I mean, for all of his heroics, they still find themselves one round down, and Vitality, the shot of actually closing this out, keeping that perfect LAN record on Overpass. Much quicker pace this time. Cirque's gonna fall back for now. So it's back to the bomb site. Restroom control gained very early on the side of Vitality, and NRG opting for that classic bait and switch setup by the looks of it. Last time we saw a setup like this, it could have gone horribly wrong for NRG. The one thing that saved them was Dap's timely rotation over towards A. If he's not around now, then could spell disaster for the North Americans.
Well, Cirque, here's that molly burn. MBK hits the initial shot. Wrap round from RPK's spotted. And Cirque very much here right now, trying to propel them to a double overtime. And in comes Breezy and Ethan. A triple overtime, rather.
Why not? You need to let Breezy get to 50, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we've seen 50 for Nifty back at IEM Sydney. Do
you have any cheeky rhymes for Breezy? I was about to say, yeah. Easy for Breezy is to, like, yeah, exactly. That's low-hanging fruit, though.
Yeah, it very much is. I'll try and think of another one, Halvor. I'll keep you posted on how my progress goes on that, but you can just keep us up with the actual Counter-Strike, the meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
Well, we might get some solid amount of time to think of something. I mean, these teams just do not want to give up. Doesn't matter, T side, CT side, we're just following each other, mirroring each other, step by step. So normally what you see in overtimes is the fact that both teams being able to buy up fully, you do start to see some differences because, one team has won out scrappy rounds that they're not necessarily meant to, or another team gets broken economically, and that's being usually the difference maker. Not to be the case yet. Ziwu, though, very aggressively here behind the smoke. He's got 2 energy players waiting for him. Not able to connect the no-scope, though. Instead, it's going to be RPK to get the trade onto Tarek. Cirque's still a bit of an awkward position, but it's going to get out of there. Fall back to the bomb site. 4v4. It's a lot of real estate for Vitality to play with. Rotations coming in early as well. Daps made his way onto that A bomb site. It seems like Ethan is also thinking about it too. A similar setup as well, actually, in OT from NRG this time, or that time it was Ethan placed in Breezy's position. No real commitment though from Vitality. Breezy really wants to get to 50.
Adamid is well on his way there. 3-on-4 in this closing segments of this first round of the 3rd overtime thus far, and we can see Team Vitality stacking up outside of the A-bomb side. The issue is Daps is here. They might anticipate that this is already clear. Surely Apex is going to check it as he runs on round, and he does not. So Daps able to elude danger, dodges death, dodges Alex. This bomb has to go down. 10 seconds. It's RPK and Alex to try and do something. And even as Alex is putting up all these numbers, finding every kill, the round still slips through his fingers.
As you mentioned, yeah, Daps going unchecked. Face checking in AK or a rifle in general, not to be advised. Really is just what spoils it all for Vitality.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, right, where because Alex is already up and past in the toilets, they just anticipate, like, all right, we've been given a lot of ground here. Yeah. Surely there would have been a bit more of a queue from NRG. And obviously, we see how the rest of the round plays out as a result of not checking that corner. It does come back to punish Team Vitality.
And it is one of the first times we've actually seen NRG remain somewhat aggressive on that A-bomb site as well. Usually they've rotated all the way back onto site. It's a new look for Vitality, really, to deal with. An MBK, woof, taking a lot of damage early on through Underpass. He's going to find Ethan, though. That's the trade for Alex. So, Tarek with the aggressive push finds RPK. So now we're seeing some more activity on the side of NRG. Messing with the heads of the French. PK has been able to move up rather far into restrooms. He's going to stand in the smoke for now, not going to push through it. Just waiting on his teammates as well. It's Apex and Ziwu with the bomb. This is very passive, actually, now from NRG. Expecting a B push here. See the double setup over towards Monster. Cirque appearing in as well. It's only Tarek here.
I mean, only Tarek might prove to be a bit of an issue. Vitality, suddenly, Ziwu asked to step up, asked to clutch in this 1v4. Now, I don't think he's had a kill since that first overtime. Finally, he graces the scoreboard once again. Oh, and a second. Okay, he slowed down a lot, but now he might just step up when they need him to most. Will he anticipate the wrap through toilets? He does not. So NRG 23-21. And it feels like we need to just see a team go flawless in one of these halves to pick it up, right? We've constantly seen them trading back and forth, and NRG could be the team to do it.
I might get your wish. The magic number being 25. Breezy, 48 frags. Away we go. Last round of the first half in the third OT. And again, different setup on the side of NRG here towards A. Tarek tucked away in the corner. He's going to have Cirque potentially take first contact. It's also a tough position for MBK to clear out as well if he wants to actually move up. Ethan's gone undiscovered as well. MBK has no idea that he's there. Flash comes out. Well, that sound's going to give him away. And nicely tag team there. Oh, Tarek.
This position, there is no way the Vitality are aware of this. Only nets that kill onto MBK, who just happens to be one of the players that was low for Vitality, so he definitely could have hoped that maybe a bit more materializes from that flank from Tarek. Just takes the one kill, though, that he knows he can get, selects to play things safe.
Also allows them to make a pretty big rotation over towards that A-bomb side, and Vitality haven't gotten onto the site yet. That should be pretty good for NRG. Nades come flying in.
It won't just be this 4v4 inside of A, or 3v4. Dap's still down on me, waiting to see if this is the fake. And Tarek, despite being fully flashed, he's given so much time. Breezy's here to help out. And Apex 1v3. Now only 2 players here. He's got 10 HP to try and find them both. And Tarek baiting. You know, gets his attention, allows Breezy to peek out shortly after. NRG, they go flawless in their CT half of the third overtime. And now they need one more round. The problem for Vitality there is all it takes is one hero play from an individual over on the side of NRG. And with Breezy just reaching 50 kills, you feel like there's definitely the possibility for
We've
that.
had a fair few of them. And I mean, again, Tarek, we haven't really talked about him too much, but this overtime is specifically coming up 2 rounds, massive impact, allowing NRG to actually to come through it flawlessly. That's the only difference maker they need. See, though, if they can bring it over to that T side. So focus from both teams kind of shifted. Like from overtime to overtime, we saw a lot of focus on the B-bomb side initially. Now it's been a little bit more balanced out in that sense, but we'll see what Vitality decide to go with. They don't really have an opportunity to fail here. That's the issue right now. They need to be certain about their setups. Saiwu is going to remain aggressive. Just takes the one shot, falls back. Vitality on their end have left Saiwu as the sole defender of that A-bomb site.
Yeah, and interesting to note is double AWP for either team, right? We have the AWPs between Saiwu and MBK over on the side of Vitality. Now, you know, it's reasonably common to see double AWP CT side, but the interesting one is Cirque and Ethan donning the AWPs for NRG.
On that T side, obviously very lends itself to getting picks. At least you have the opportunity to do so. Ethan misses his shot onto RPK, but does allow you to find picks a little bit easier. But again, it makes the actual site takes a whole lot harder. Actually, a little bit curious whether or not they've dropped an AK and spawn potentially.
Saiwu tries to take that fight over the top, but he will be sent back into the depths from which he came. Back to this A-bomb site for him for the time being, but the nades find good damage onto Daps. And this push from NRG is all but ground to a halt. They're setting on up for the A-side play. You can see that rotation of Ethan can come up through the connector.
Time is running down as well, so they need to decide on where they want to go. Bomb's still hanging out far back there, but it seems like A is going to be the play. That's where 3 Vitality members find themselves.
They've left this very late, though. They've got to pick up the pace. They have to get this bomb down, and it's been dropped. MBK drops it. Saiwu in with another. Tarek, he's been very good in this overtime in particular, but a 1v3, there's no time either. This is a Vitality round, a 21-24, and he actually goes down after time. Now, when you think about the fact it was double AWPs for T-side, I wonder if that's going to have any ramifications for them.
Probably not too much for Tarek, because he is one of the riflers. He hasn't, I guess, invested that much into it. They are playing with 16K as well, so they should be all right. This time, though, not going to see double ops on the side of NRG. Back to normality. Still just 1 round away.
Oh, Saiwu. Once again, able to kickstart this round with the bad advantage for Team Vitality. No response just yet from NRG, but they hope to find it with Ethan and Cirque playing off of one another here. Down in Monster. Doesn't like they're setting up to flash this corner, instead just holding it. ZywOo might be blind, but he still gets breezy. Flash over the top facilitates the peak for RPK. And it's a perfect flashbang. A helping hand lent from Alex. Tarek, 1v5 required. And surely we don't now see Vitality with the reverse sweep, another overtime.
Nothing seems to separate these two teams on Overpass, so wouldn't be too surprised if we do go into the 4th OT at this stage. All right, Tarek finds the first one. Not able to down RPK. So 3K for the Vile Vet. And again, 1 round off, potentially quadruple overtime to start off the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need paramedics on standby to help the scheduling guys here at Starladder. I mean, their blood pressure's through the roof right now, you imagine.
IVs for everyone.
This has been a very, very long game, and it looks like it's going to go on even longer, Halvor. We're almost 50 rounds into this game of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, at this point. See, the game's gone on for so long that NRG are actually questioning themselves whether or not they'd used all 4 timeouts or not. And yes, they did. They actually used all of them in regulation. So they've pretty much played an entire new game on its own without timeouts. RPK with 3K to get Vitality 1 step closer to a new overtime. Here we go. Double up setup back again on the boards for NRG. This time it's Daps actually to hold on to it. He's got his eyes pierced toward Underpass. ZywOo this time not going to aggress onto him. Woo! Well done. There you go, Apex.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to take the man advantage at double overtime. Oh, sorry, what am I on about? Quad overtime point. It's not every day you get this many.
Well, it seems like Cirque might want to say something about that. Might put an end to it all. He finds Alex, so back to 4v4. Oh, breezy. Driving force for NRG so far in this game. He finds one towards that A-bomb site, so force the rotation. Apex needs to stand his ground on A. He's actually pushing forward, which is interesting. Might be unexpected as well on the side of NRG. Meanwhile, Tarek just holding steady over towards B, and this move from Apex could just be the deciding factor.
Yeah, this can make or break the round right now.
Oh, is Cirque holding it?
Seems wise to the fact Shadow gets spotted. Apex shutting down the output of NRG. Now Vitality looking to try and take the aim on site, and they do drop Apex. So NRG sitting in this 3-on-2, ZywOo and RPK to try and secure another overtime on their map pick. RPK falls, and it's the youngster. Vitality, it was them on map point so many times, but they couldn't quite close it out. NRG now just one away from making it so, and it's the youngster. The start of Vitality in this 1v3 does manage to pluck Tarek from the ranks, but they're not peeking into this. NRG, oh! ZywOo, one man left to find, and it's Daps over at long, but he doesn't read it. And NRG takes them a while, but they're able to close this out. ZywOo falling just 1 kill short there in the 1v3. But it will be NRG picking up this map and moving 1-0 up in this series.
What a game to start us off, though. Holy hell. 52 frags to Breezy's name. And I mean, a ton of rounds where just individuals shine through from start to finish. And that's the LAN streak for Vitality broken. No longer that 100% win rate on Overpass. They finally met their match, met their maker. And that puts a lot of pressure on them going into map number 2.
Yeah, right, and obviously that's the map pick of NRG, that's Mirage, and so that's a pretty awkward spot to be in, right, if you're the French squad. Now you're having to try and fight back on your opponent's map pick. And I think the other thing is, you look at that, Vitality had so many chances to close that game out, and it was them who was giving it away as opposed to NRG. You know, like, I mean, they did have like a phenomenal time of things as well, right? But you look at it, Vitality, to have reached map points so many times and to have seen so many overtimes come out of that game, you're left wondering, like, what went wrong? How come they couldn't close that out?
Yeah, it is a bit of a head scratcher for sure, and losing in that kind of a fashion as well. It's a super draining game, goes on for so long. Like, how do they mentally reset going into map 2? Are they going to be able to at all?
And that's kind of made even worse by the fact that you have ZywOo, right? He's the guy you put so much of the waiting on, and he's your youngest, least experienced player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he didn't have the greatest of games to start us off on Overpass. We did see spurts every now and again. But we need to see, I guess, a consistent ZywOo coming into map number 2 if Vitality has the hope of bringing this to a third.
Yeah, well, that's all from me and Halvor for now. We'll be back with this second map. For now, we're going to throw this one back over to the analyst desk.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to CS.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
And new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.